2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're going to have a light breakfast.
Yeah.
We're going to have to really kill it at lunch. And then dinner is just going to be
free for all.
But you have to wait till after the draft for dinner because you can't really enjoy barbecue while the draft is going on.
No.
So that's sort of a catch-22.
I can't be like all sauce all over my face and my hands trying to use an elbow to like scroll up to see the latest pick or trade.
Last year, though, it would have worked at the number 4 pick, though. Sauce Gardner.
You've been waiting for that one, haven't you?
No, that dad joke just came out of nowhere. At least
sure.
you handed it to me.
No. This is like when Ian Eagle sat on Jawbreaker for the whole year and then finally unleashed it.
Wait.
That's what he told us. And you've been sitting on this one for like at least 2 weeks.
You were just talking about how you can't get sauce on your hands so you scroll down during the draft. I mean, come on. That was put in my lap. I had no choice but to spike it home.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Oh, Sean Payton, tell us what you really think. Wow. The Denver Broncos head coach is not messing around, Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, welcome into the show. We're not used to this coach taking out an entirely different team. It seems like almost on a whim. Sean Payton sitting down for an interview with USA Today, yes.
He's a Bill Parcells guy.
Yeah.
He's really Bill Parcells' right-hand guy, even more so than Belichick in some ways. This is totally Bill Parcells. Now, I don't think Parcells ever had any reason to do all this, and I don't think Sean Payton has a reason to do this. I think he's just honest.
Well, this isn't going to help. Now, everyone has had their eyes on the New York Jets, right? You can't go a day without a headline about Aaron Rodgers, and yesterday was the headline that he's taking this massive pay cut to play with the Jets on the same day that Dalvin Cook happens to be in the building, or the day before Dalvin Cook's in the building. It's like, wow, Rodgers, he's so committed. He wants to play multiple years. Okay, that's the latest headline with the Jets. Now, here comes Sean Payton in from the top rope. We all know that the Jets have had a lot of eyeballs and a lot of hype. But here's what Sean Payton had to say to USA Today. He said, as far as the Broncos are concerned, we're not doing any of that. Quote, the Jets did that this year. You watch. Hard Knocks, all of it. I can see it coming. You remember when Dan Snyder put the dream team together? I was at the Giants. I was a young coach. I thought, how are we going to compete with them? Deion Sanders is there now. That team won 8 games or whatever. So listen, just put the work in. He didn't have to take out the Jets. He chose to take out the Jets by basically saying, we were the super team from a year ago,
right,
and it failed so spectacularly. We're not going to be that this year. The Jets are going to be that this year.
No. You're making a leap. He didn't say the Jets are going to be that this year. He said that the Jets are, if they don't put the work in, they're going to be like that Washington team with Deion, the Eagles dream team when Vince Young declared them a dream team in 2011. They signed like 11. Yeah, they paid Nnamdi Asomugha more money than anyone ever, and they were 8-8 too. I just looked up their record. He's not saying the Jets are definitely going to be that, but he said the Jets are setting up like that. And if the Jets don't put in the work, like the Broncos did last year, they're going to be this year's version of the Broncos. It's sort of a warning shot. He's sort of helping coach those poor Jets, giving some advice.
Yeah, sure. A little different when you got Aaron Rodgers coming in and putting this big bear hug around the team. You think they're not going to work hard? Rodgers is taking less money to give the double middle finger to the Packers front office. And I don't know how the Packers fans are feeling about this today, but I can't imagine it's very good because you have Rodgers, who is not exactly committing, but almost all but committing to 2 years. Meanwhile, wouldn't commit to multiple years to Devontae Adams, and it's one of the reasons Adams is no longer in a Packers uniform. One of the reasons he's no longer. Maybe not the only, but one of the reasons. And the fact that Rodgers took almost every penny he could when he was in Green Bay and now is not going to do that for the Jets because now it's a legacy play, I'd feel a little way about that if I were a Packer fan. I don't know if they're feeling that way. That's how I would feel.
I think Packers fans were done with Rodgers. And
if they definitely are.
If they needed him to take a pay cut to get out the door, great. I don't see a lot of lamenting Rodgers being gone. Honestly, he had to take less money, otherwise the Jets were never going to do this. He was getting, $110 million for 2 seasons?
That's the front office. Stop giving him so much money if you want him out the door. Stop handing him millions and millions and gajillions of dollars.
They admitted they screwed up and they gave him too much money, and then they're like, well, we got to get this guy out of here. So the Packers are Packers are thrilled. You don't think that front office is celebrating? They're like, yes, fine, go to whatever for the Jets. You're not our headache anymore. So, and that's exactly, here's the thing. It's exactly like last year. You think it's different now. Last year at this time, we're saying, finally, Russell Wilson gets to cook. Nobody was saying Russell Wilson's going to have one of the worst seasons in NFL history. Yeah. Everyone was saying, well, look at this, kumbaya. Everyone, they got Nathaniel Hackett, who's Mr. Personality. Everyone loves Nathaniel Hackett. And they got Russell Wilson. He's finally going to be able to show his true skills. Nobody saw the dark clouds. You're seeing only the bright sun coming through the Jets facility in New York, or New Jersey, rather, when the reality is Sean Payton's right. They haven't done anything. They've won a bunch of press conferences. Nothing positive has happened in New York yet because they haven't played a single game. There's nothing. This is nothing.
Okay, but there are fewer obstacles and hurdles now in retrospect than what the Broncos were dealing with.
Did you know one of those obstacles last year at this time? A single one?
No, but I can see them in hindsight where
that'll happen in New York,
But here's the thing. We did say Nathaniel Hackett is a first-time head coach. You never know how that's going to go. Now, Robert Saleh, I don't think is any genius head coach. At least it's not his first freaking season. And he's also he's not great, but he's not a disaster. Here's what Sean Payton said about last year's coaching staff and Nathaniel Hackett. He said, everyone's got a little stink on their hands from last year. It's not just Russell. It was a poor offensive line. It might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. That's how bad it was. The history of the NFL, right. And he's not wrong.
Wait. Yeah. And you don't see the speed bumps in New York? You just said one right there.
No, but Saleh's not in his first season.
But look who his offensive coordinator is.
Well, I don't know. Nathaniel Hackett could not get a play in last year.
So definitely should have gone for it.
We knew he was due.
Okay, so you're saying he's the worst coach, and now he's the offensive coordinator in New York. I could see a speed bump right there. If he's such an idiot, then he's now your coordinator? This is something to be excited about?
No, but in Green Bay, he was an offensive coordinator, and it did work. He doesn't have that top job anymore. We've had this partnership with Rodgers, and it's been fruitful for Rodgers winning MVPs. I just think for Payton, this was a howitzer. Yeah. He basically said, this Jets team is going to be last year's Broncos. And that was an embarrassment and a failure.
I don't think he's actually saying that. I think he's saying you can't win anything in March. And I think I don't think he's saying the Jets are going to fail. I'm just saying, everything that we're hearing now in the media about how great the Jets are, it doesn't mean anything. It's totally meaningless. And the thing is, you say that you don't see the roadblocks. Guess what happened to the Broncos? 3 key players got injured. That could easily happen in the Jets, and then we'll know what the roadblocks are. So his point is you never know what's going to happen. You can't win anything in the offseason.
Okay. Since the Dan Snyder brought Deion Sanders in 2000 and, tried to make a dream team, since your Philadelphia Eagles tried to make a dream team and it didn't work, what has happened since then? 2 dream teams won the Super Bowl.
No.
Yes.
First of all, show me the headline that says the Rams have built a dream team when they traded for Stafford. Show me that the words dream team and Rams.
But what was the roster at the end of the year? The roster was Aaron Donald might be the greatest inside defensive lineman of all time.
Right.
It's possible. Cooper Kupp could have won and probably should have won MVP that year. You did trade for Jalen Ramsey. They were all in. No one said dream team. It was F them picks and all in the trade for Stafford. That essentially was a dream team.
But you just said at the end of the season. I'm saying before the season.
Odell Beckham. I forgot about that trade.
I don't think that was not a dream team like this is dream team. It was not.
Rams team was probably more of a dream team.
It was not a march of, oh my God, the Rams. They weren't even favorites. I mean,
okay, but
also last year, by the way, you said the Broncos were not a dream team last year. The win total on the Broncos before the year was higher than the Jets is this year. Everyone expected the Broncos to absolutely roll last year.
Yeah.
The Jets are 9.5 wins.
Well, that's also because you have greatest coach in your division. You do have Josh Allen in the division. You have Miami in the division.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing like we were hyping the AFC West last year. Last year, the AFC West signed everybody. Remember last year, everyone was high on the Raiders. Everyone was high on the Chargers. Everyone was high on the Broncos. Nothing that happens in March, if anything.
Well, the Chargers did make the playoffs. I mean, it was terrible when they got there, but they did. They were a playoff team.
But you know what I mean? Like, those were the huge winners of the spring and the offseason. And then once the season starts, everything changes.
I think Sean Payton's going to end up eating these words because you have now just offered the bulletin board material to Aaron Rodgers, somebody who, when his former team had the audacity to draft Jordan Love, he went out and won 2 MVPs. And you kept paying him, and it led to all of this in the first place. And a lot of the bad vibes were for years, but the bad vibes really started from the Jordan Love draft pick. So now you've given Rodgers, who is clearly making a legacy play here, who's clearly is willing to put money to the side. I mean, he's made enough of it in his career. Clearly willing to put money to the side to try to win here in New York, and you just gave him a little bit extra. Nathaniel Hackett, that's his boy. Like, that's his dude. He feels like they're friends on like a cosmic level. And Sean Payton just said he was the worst coach in the history of the NFL.
Aaron Rodgers is a 40-year-old quarterback. He needs bulletin board material?
Did he need it the year that Jordan Love got drafted when he was 38?
Well, if so, it's not great. And also, I mean, there's so little rivalry. I know they play each other this year. There's nothing between the Broncos and the Jets. They might as well be in different universes. I mean, there's no rivalry there. It's an AFC West team against an AFC East team. Do you think they're even on each other's consciousness?
Yeah.
They're pretty far away.
So Robert Saleh responded, because that's the one thing. They might not be division rivals, but we live in a 24/7 media world where it's going to be really hard to ignore. So here was Saleh when asked about Payton's comments.
Well, I'm not going to acknowledge Sean on that. He's been in the league a while. He can say whatever the hell he wants. But I kind of live by saying, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So hate away. Obviously, we're doing something right if you got to talk about us when we don't play you till week 4. There's a lot of people who are hating on us. There's a lot of people looking for us to fail. There's a lot of crows pecking at our neck. But all you can do is spread your wings, keep flying high until those crows fall off and suffocate from the inability to breathe.
All right, got a little convoluted at the end there. Is this David Attenborough?
That's it before.
The Nature Channel.
Hey, could I answer that question if I'm Robert Saleh?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what Sean Payton's saying. That guy's won a lot in the NFL. I hope to win a lot in the NFL someday. I'm not talking about crows pecking on our neck. Like, you haven't won anything, Robert Saleh. Nothing. You won a little bit in San Francisco, but I would just say, I wouldn't say anything almost. I'd be like, Sean Payton's a great coach and leave it at that.
Well,
because, like, who's Robert Saleh to say a single thing about anything?
Well, he didn't, but he's just now he's lumping in Sean Payton.
He said we have a lot of haters, and I can't wait to prove him wrong or something.
Yeah, but he said he respects Sean Payton, but he said we have a lot of haters, and Sean Payton sounds like a hater here. See, here's the reason why Sean Payton sounds like a hater, and I like Sean Payton, but here's why he sounds like a hater. The reporter didn't ask about the Jets.
It's a print report. You do not know the whole context.
I don't feel like Jarrett Bell is driving me wrong here. Is doing something here. I can tell you exactly what's preceding it. He's talking about how the Broncos were an unmitigated disaster the year before. He said they became a laughingstock last season. And he said, and this is Sean Payton's quote, "It doesn't happen often where an NFL team or organization gets embarrassed, and that happened here. Part of it was their own fault relative to spending too much time to win the offseason, the PR, the pomp and circumstance. And we're not doing any of that this year. The Jets did that this year. You watch, Hard Knocks, all of it. I can see it coming. They didn't ask about the Jets. They were asking about you. And so stay on you." What's that line? Till your own field or whatever. Like, he went out of his way. He took a left turn in the car to run over the Jets. And I think he's going to end up eating it.
I don't think, first of all, the next line by Jarrett Bell, the hunch here is that Payton could care less about making the Jets or anybody else in Baltimore, because the Jets are not an issue for Sean Payton. He's in the same division with Patrick Mahomes. What does he care about the Jets?
Yeah, exactly.
They're nothing to him.
Maybe he's focusing a little bit more on the Chiefs.
He could be talking about Lionel Messi and MLS. He cares about that as much as the Jets are not in the Broncos' radar, not even close.
Sean Payton is not a fool. He worked in the media last year. He was a head coach in New Orleans for 15 years. He understands that when he says things, it's going to make news.
But he said something about a 7-win team who's getting way overhyped. I don't think that, honestly, if he'd said something about the Chiefs, then this would be a big deal. Saying something about the Jets, I mean, really. Name a Bronco. You're a Jets fan, Sam. Did you remember the Broncos and Jets ever having a classic showdown of any form whatsoever?
Yes, AFC Championship game, Elway versus Testaverde, 1998.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. Jets leading at the half, and they lost. Should have won the Super Bowl.
1998, the Jets made the AFC title game. I don't remember that.
Testaverde came in, and they won 14-2, and they just
against the defending champion. What was the final score?
I think it was like it was low. It was like 17-10, something like that.
I don't. Well, okay, so all right, you're right. The animosity of 25 years ago.
But it wasn't that Parcells who was coaching that Jets team, or am I wrong? I think it was.
It was 23-10 was the final, but the Jets were up 3-0 at the half.
Was that Parcells who was coaching the Jets on that team? There you go, Sean Payton disciple, off of Bill Parcells.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I think Sean Payton, you're right, is smart. I think making the Jets mad is not really going to hurt him too much. I mean, it's the Jets and it's Denver. Honestly, I don't.
Here's the thing: if the Jets go on to win the Super Bowl, he's going to look stupid. And if the Jets go on and win the Super Bowl, the Packers fans, I feel like, are going to be apoplectic, and they should be.
I don't know. Are you Patriots fans apoplectic that Tom Brady won in Tampa Bay?
Yes.
No.
They're mad at Belichick.
No, they're not. They're so psyched for Brady. I have tons of friends with Patriots fans.
Yeah, right. They're happy for Brady, and then they're looking at their own team, and even their owner, Robert Kraft, is like, I'm sick of not making, not being a factor in the playoffs or whatever, Robert Kraft. Now we get a Belichick on the hot seat rumor every day.
3 years later. But actually in 2000, I didn't feel like a lot of New England fans were like, oh, we're so sad they did. Because they knew very well that Patriots team wasn't headed in the direction of a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. They looked terrible in 19. There wasn't like I have tons of friends who are Patriots fans. They were not sad when Brady won. They were like, what are you doing, Robert Kraft?
Well, they also had 6 Super Bowl titles to the franchise. So you really can't get that upset. But you don't think now Patriots fans are like, we chose wrong?
No,
we should have kept Brady.
I don't think so, because Brady was 45 years old. And I think the Packers fans are looking at Aaron Rodgers like, yeah, that'd be good if he wins one in New York, but you're going to have to move on at some point. I think they look at, these guys are old. So what were the Packers just going to keep Aaron Rodgers and keep on losing in the playoffs?
What are they going to do with Jordan Love? They'll be happy to make the playoffs?
I think they knew it was time to, hey, we're going to have to move on from Aaron Rodgers eventually. This seems like Aaron Rodgers is happier. I think Packers fans, a lot of them are like pretty okay with this because they knew they were going to have to start over. This is the franchise that moved on from Favre to Rodgers in the first place.
But think about what you're saying there. Now you have Rodgers who's willing to take a pay cut, Rodgers who's committing tepidly to more years. It's like this is like the second wife. Like if you're married to somebody and you never want to go and you won't go on an airplane. I'm scared of flying. We can't go anywhere on vacation because I can't get on an airplane anywhere. And then all of a sudden you get divorced, get remarried, boom, trip to Japan. It's like, well, you wouldn't get on a plane with me. Now you're getting on a plane with her. This is like the second wife.
Well, no. This is like the man is Green Bay, and they had to look at this younger girlfriend. They need to decide, am I going to commit to my younger girlfriend?
Well, Rodgers kept taking their money.
Well, yeah, Rodgers is the ex-wife in this scenario, and Jordan Love's a young girlfriend, and they have to decide. Like, his option's coming up. So they had to look at him. I mean, what were they going to do? Just let Jordan Love go? Would never give him a shot?
He's done nothing.
Of course he's done nothing. He hasn't started, for the Green Bay Packers. They had to look at him, right? Or are they just going to let Jordan Love go and never figure that out?
Pick up the fifth-year option and figure it out. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. RPC says Maggie's mad as hell today, and I like it. Am I? I mean, a little bit. This is a little weird.
Are you a Jets fan? Can we just be? What is going on here?
Am I a Jets fan?
You're just saying all this. Like you say that you just said in this segment one of the craziest statements I've ever heard. You said there are no roadblocks. This is the Jets. There are roadblocks. We might not see them. This is the Jets, Maggie. They're giant, massive roadblocks. They're out there. We just don't have access to them.
I watched Tampa. I watched the Rams. I watched Tom Brady. I watched Matthew Stafford. You're telling me that Aaron Rodgers can't do this? You're crazy. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Laura, Maggie, this is not a reflection of your marriage. No, it's not. I'm happily married. First time.
I want to hear some Packers fans. I have not heard a lot of sad Packers fans. They are, come on. Our buddy Aaron Rodgers had to go. This was not going to last anymore.
Laura says, don't worry, your husband's not dumping you for a younger version.
I don't think Packers fans are necessarily upset that Rodgers left. I think now they're pissed that he just took this $35 million pay cut when they could have kept Devontae last year and could have ran it back. I think they're pissed today. They weren't pissed until today.
Are you seeing? I know a lot of people in New York are saying that. I'm not seeing that from a ton of people in Green Bay.
They're also in Green Bay. They're eating cheese. They're drinking beer. They're happy. They're just happy people.
Well, we're on in Milwaukee, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so we got a lot going on today. Wow, do we ever. A lot of college football news coming in pretty fast and furious in terms of realignment, and the Pac-12 is in major, major trouble today. We'll get into that. Also, the great debate series continues, fittingly that we're talking about coaches. Greatest NFL coach of all time. Later in the show, greatest NFL fan base of all time. Hoo-hoo.
Jets, baby.
Yeah, get out of here with that. We'll talk about the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. No chance in hell we're talking about you guys as a fan base. All right, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Don't move. We do the greatest NFL coach of all time in your phone calls. Next, it's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. NFL Network is showing all these games from last year, showing the Niners-Cowboys playoff game. The Niners won 19-12, and Maggie and I are about to watch Zeke Elliott get blown up.
Oh, man. I'm not, happy about that.
No. I hope he's okay.
I can't believe that's how the game ended.
But it's funny to me because I think there was two signature dumb plays last year. One was Zeke getting blown up an attempted trick
Snapping
play.
the ball, yeah.
Yeah, an attempted trick play by the Cowboys at the end of a playoff loss. The other was Nathaniel Hackett in week one.
The 64-yard field goal.
64-yard field goal.
Definitely should have gone for it.
Yeah. So it's funny.
Remember, definitely should have gone for it was not what he said post-game. That was the next day. It's like, I got to watch the film on this one. It's like, did you?
It's funny. It's hard in today's NFL. It's such a popular sport, and with social media, there were probably boneheaded plays throughout the entire history of the sport.
Of course.
But now, if you make a boneheaded play or you're poor Nathaniel Hackett, not only are you getting caught on the moment, now you have Sean Payton calling you out in a USA Today article saying that was a disaster.
I don't remember Sean Payton commenting on the butt fumble, but maybe he did. I don't know.
Well, the butt fumble, I don't think was a coaching decision, so that was an infamous play. But you know who gets called out a lot on social media? Brandon Staley of the Chargers. That poor guy can't get fourth down right. But I think that was pretty heated last segment because I feel what Sean Payton was doing was more about his team. I don't think he was going after the Jets. He just was using them as an example. I don't think he was saying the Jets are going to suck. I think he was just saying the Jets are setting up just because you bring in all this talent doesn't guarantee anything. You got to work hard, right? Isn't that what a coach wants to say? You got to work. Maybe he was helping the Jets, if anything.
Helping? How are they going to reverse this stuff? First of all, the Jets didn't want to do Hard Knocks. What was it? Shoved down their throats, I believe, was the term that was used. So sometimes things break right for you, and sometimes they break wrong for you. If you believe they actually didn't want to do Hard Knocks, that's just something that now they're going to have to deal with, as opposed to something they were out there courting, oh, where's my camera? I can't wait to. I think.
Yeah. Because Rodgers never courts the camera.
No, I mean Rodgers loves a camera, but that's part of it. When you make big swings like this, you get every part of what comes with it. But for Sean Payton just to say we're not doing any of that stuff, hey, look at the Jets this year, they're going to crash and burn because of this.
He didn't say they were going to crash and burn.
He said we're not doing any of that. The Jets did that this year. You watch. What's you watch? You watch. Hard Knocks, all of it. I can see it coming. These are threats. You watch. I can see it coming. How else would I take that? Let's go to the phones. 855.
When you say it that way, okay.
Did I not say it that way the first time? 855-212-4CBS. Bobby is in Oregon. Hey, Bobby, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon. How you guys doing?
We're amazing. How are you?
Good. I think I'm amazing also. Hey, listen, I was calling in about the Sean Payton bit. You know, I saw the USA Today article, and I was thinking that I thought what he's doing, I think he is a smart guy, and I think what he's doing is trying to pump up Russell Wilson. Curious, you know, what you guys think about that. I mean, to me, this seemed like the Jets were collateral damage, and what he's really trying to do is to get Russell Wilson pumped up, and I think dumping on Nathaniel Hackett's probably the best way to do that.
You know, Bobby, you must have scored very well on your SATs reading comprehension, because you're absolutely right. He was doing that. Thank you for the call. And to say it might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL, that's how bad it was. Talking about Nathaniel Hackett last year. I mean, yes, they found a scapegoat. Now, he did say at least 20 people have their hands dirty on this thing, that it wasn't just Hackett. But when you say it might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in history.
I'm very confused by this particular messaging. Mm-hmm. So he's basically making excuses for Russell Wilson last year. And 100%. I agree with the call. But then he's saying last year that everybody was being too lenient on Russell Wilson. Shouldn't he go the opposite and give him tough love and not make excuses for Russell Wilson?
So here was the quote about Russell Wilson and what went wrong last year. Quote from Sean Payton. That wasn't his fault. Let me give you a little more context. Russell Wilson had a personal strength coach, quarterbacks coach, his own quarterbacks coach, and a massage therapist that has been working with him for like over a decade. And he brought them with him to Denver, and they had free reign over the organization. And apparently, and once you start losing, this becomes a touchy subject. You know, a guy having their own people who are doing whatever they want, okay? So this is what Payton said about that. Quote, that wasn't his fault, Payton said of Wilson. That was the parents who allowed it. That's not an incrimination on him, but an incrimination on the head coach, the general manager, the president, and everyone else who watched it all happen. Now, a quarterback having an office and a place to watch film is normal, but all those things get magnified when you're losing. And that other stuff, I've never heard of it. We're not doing that.
But still, why is he putting Russell Wilson off the hook like this? I find it a little confusing because I thought Sean Payton was Mr. Tough Guy. I mean, honestly, like, he should not be enabling Russell Wilson anymore by saying none of this is your fault. He should be like, Russell Wilson's got to, I think he should be saying Russell Wilson's got to do better as well. I assume he's saying that.
Kind of odd to say that's the parents who allowed it. I mean, Russell Wilson's been in this league for a decade.
Sean Payton's just firing shots left and right. I love it. I say keep it coming, Sean.
Adrian's our pal in Maryland. Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call again. Hey, Maggie, unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree with you here. And you being a Bills fan, I'm surprised you're siding on the Jets side. Perloff,
I got to call it like I see it, Adrian.
Yeah, the Jets are right now they are overhyped. They're going to have to be able to sustain this throughout the whole season. And Sean Payton is just saying what happened to Denver last year. Remember, Denver went into the AFC West. They got Russell Wilson, and they were supposed to be this powerhouse team, and they ended up falling on their faces.
Yep.
What's that?
They stunk. They got embarrassed.
Right. And that could happen this year. And you guys keep saying, oh, Aaron Rodgers is a changed man. He's a changed man in 6 months. As they say, a spade is a spade. You got to find out how he really is after the maybe the losses and things like that. This is actually not a dream team. I don't know where they're getting dream team from. 40-year-old quarterback and a bunch of rookies. We'll see.
You know, Adrian, I see your point. I think that I don't know if like Aaron Rodgers is like a changed man. I know he's a man on a mission. And I don't think that you need to change like permanently. Like, I don't know if he's a changed man permanently, but this dude wants Super Bowl, not just for himself, but I think now to shove it back in the face of the Green Bay Packers brass. Not the fans, the brass.
I tend to think he full on 100% wanted Super Bowl when he was in Green Bay and getting the number one seed. Especially, what was it, last year? Him walking off, I think he was, 2 years ago, sorry. He was so sure they were going to win that year. I think he was positive. that was the team. I think he thought he had the team, and then they lost on that snowy night to San Francisco. I think he was all in that year. I think he was, I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt. These great quarterbacks are all in every year. I don't think they really need bulletin board material. Did Tom Brady ever need bulletin board material?
No, but it's like, but Tom Brady, just like Michael Jordan, I think would manufacture a lot of chips on their shoulders. So that's bulletin board material. It's the same.
I think Rodgers probably manufactured it every year as well. I mean, I think.
So now Sean Payton, you don't have to manufacture it. Here it is.
No, I think I would hope that Aaron Rodgers was 100% in to win a Super Bowl every year. But, that person brings up a great point. Like, they were 13-3 a lot of years with Green Bay, then lost in the playoffs. If they were 13-4 with the Jets and lost in the playoffs, it's going to be, now everyone's setting it up to be so disappointing. I get back to it. I feel bad for the Jets. These expectations are ridiculous, Maggie.
Bad for the Jets. Tony is in Vancouver, Washington. Hello, Tony.
Hey, guys, don't be making excuses for Russell Wilson. He's supposed to have this personal trainer. He looked kind of pudgy last year, if you ask me.
Oh, my God.
He was slow. And believe me, I'm a Seahawks fan. Seen it for 12 years. He's the hardest quarterback in the NFL to block for, so he complains about the line because he's short. He's got to move around.
Yeah.
These offensive linemen don't even know where he is half the time. A guy like Brady, they know where he's going to be, so they put a halo around him. Wilson, he's got happy feet. You don't know where he is half the time, and that's why he gets sacked so much. You can send linebackers and cornerbacks after him if you get the line moving one way, and he's going the other. He's easy to sack. I mean, he's the problem.
It's interesting because he always gets a lot of credit, Tony, for those heroics because they look heroic. It looks like it's Russ out there making something happen out of nothing, but it's not a bad point about it's a tough guy to block for because he is a smaller quarterback, shorter quarterback. Tony, thank you for the phone call.
Yeah, that's like Kyler Murray has to run back nine steps to see anything. He's definitely harder to block for that reason. Russell, by the way, lost a ton of weight. Have you seen the videos before and after? That's not wrong. I mean, that's a great question. What was that personal trainer doing last year?
Don't we always get these questions? Like, have you ever seen a personal trainer? Now, I'm not saying all personal trainers have to be stick thin. You don't have to be bone thin. A lot of thin people aren't healthy. They're just, it's just how they look or whatever. But have you ever gone to the gym or something and a trainer's there and they're like kind of overweight?
That's not good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like...
Yeah. That's one job that I hate to be weight conscious. That's one job you want to be in great shape.
And I'm saying you can still be healthy and not be stick thin. I get that.
Maybe it's a Tom Brady pliability thing.
I'm just saying it's like someone says, do sit-ups. Like, why don't you do some?
He was kind of pudgy last year.
Well, that's the funny thing about Tom Brady. Tom Brady was this fitness guru and avocado ice cream. And out of 32 quarterbacks, he was about the 29th most ripped quarterback. I'm like, dude.
He's kind of, he's not jacked like that.
And then I think now in retirement, you're starting to see him look a little more muscular.
Well, if he's dating Arena Shake, then you got to hit the weights,
Have you been reading what they're saying? Just friends.
Well, I mean.
No. You're saying people that good.
They didn't say just friends. They said keeping it casual.
Yeah, that's different.
I read Just Dear Friends.
Wait, when you leave someone's house at 9 a.m., when you're spotted at 10 p.m. the night before, and then you leave their house at 9 a.m. the next day, is that just friends?
Well, did
she sleep on the couch?
You're assuming people who are that good looking cannot help but sleep with each other? Is that what we're all assuming here?
I'm just assuming they're consenting adults.
The quote is totally casual. And when I hear totally casual, I don't hear platonic. I hear they're just having some fun.
Yeah. Met on Tinder. I don't think so.
Could you imagine scrolling through and finding
Arena
Tom
Shake?
Brady? That would be fun.
Speaking of what does it look like someone does for a living, what does it look like Stu does for a living today? This is different. Stu's in a suit.
I got it. He looks like the character David in 6 Feet Under.
Oh, mortician.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah, Stu.
That's what I said. I said mortician.
Yeah, you could work in a funeral home today. I think Stu also looks like when like the priest takes off the robe and they have a suit underneath or something, or a rabbi or something. Like when a holy person takes off the robe and they have the suit on underneath. You also look like that today.
I could see that. Big tie to glasses, all of that.
Yeah, you look like also like a local judge. Could see that.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, I'm going to take one step back here.
Authoritative is what I'm going for.
The Page 6 article, New York Post, Page 6. Sources close to Shake said they're just friends. They have a purely platonic relationship.
Is that what it's called when you sleep with somebody?
No, it's exact platonic.
I know.
I am willing to bet that they are not a couple. I don't know why. I just don't see them together.
Okay, but you saw the photos when they're together at night, and then she leaves in the morning.
Yeah, I think they stayed up all night and had a really deep conversation about their former loves.
And watched, like, The Bear on Netflix. I don't know.
Yes, I think.
Binge The Crown.
I think you could be a supermodel. You could just be friends with a former star quarterback. Why not?
Yeah, that could happen. He was driving a Rolls Royce, too. I did not peg Brady for a Rolls Royce guy.
Oh, that is weird.
That was a beautiful car, though.
Gorgeous
car.
It's like a Grey Poupon situation from the commercial
do
we
you
were
think
kids.
that Brady has a roll-down type window? That's probably a car where you think roll-down window and it just goes down. That's an AI car. Not to do competing tabloids, but according to Page 6, an insider, multiple sources confirm, quote, this is something new, and at the moment, it's totally casual.
Yeah, that's in the same article I'm looking at.
Yeah, you guys read the same article.
We'll read the
It's
same
not competing.
article.
You're just giving them double press.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kim Kardashian was dating Tom Brady in everyone's mind. I just think it's weird how none of these things are sticking to Brady. Rich Ackerman, you know these things. Who is Tom Brady dating?
Rich, you're the most eligible
I'm
bachelor
going
in here.
Irina Shayk.
What's that?
I'm going. They're dating.
Listen, he just got out of a big relationship, and so did she, right?
They could be
Yeah,
taking it
but in
slowly.
Hollywood and stuff, isn't this about? It usually lasts about 6 months before they're with someone else?
Yeah, something like that.
Why would Irina Shayk's people deny this? Is it a good press to be with Tom Brady?
Well, maybe she's trying to keep it casual too.
He thinks thou dost protest too much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also, if you are trying to play it cool, then you got to actually play it cool. You can't have your publicists out there being like, they're soulmates. Then you're going to look too needy.
I don't know. There's so many women who've been linked to Tom Brady since Giselle, and none of it has meant anything.
Yeah, but none have been photographed leaving his house.
Well, is that right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he with that blonde Instagram model?
She was trying to cape off of his fame.
She's telling me
He's
Tom
been
Brady
married
has a
for how
hookup?
long? A decade?
Brady?
Let him go
More.
out. Yeah, let him go out and just do whatever he's doing. Whether it's Kim Kardashian or Irina Shayk.
Listen, her
he's having his fun.
How long was she married to Bradley Cooper?
Exactly.
A while.
Until Lady Gaga came around.
Wait, so do you guys think that he ever hooked up with Kim Kardashian?
No.
You're more emphatic about that than who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Ack was on the beach when they were flirting, so he saw what didn't deny.
I'm giving
The
Tom Brady.
chemistry,
I'm giving Tom Brady too much credit for that.
Oh, come on. People act like Kim Kardashian is like some kind of Satan in a pair of Skims. She's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm reading more. All right, so maybe Irina Shayk is dating Tom Brady, but I don't know. Is it love? Is it love?
Is it love? Is it ever love?
You know, one of these days, I do want to see a celebrity come out and just be like, "Oh man, yeah, we've been dating for 2 days, but I'm madly in love and we're soulmates." I want to see that tabloid out
That's
there.
like an Angelina Jolie, Billy Bob Thornton situation.
Yeah, wearing your blood around each other's neck.
No, Carmen Electra, Dennis Rodman had one of those.
Yeah, that's true. They got married after 37 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. We get enough of that. 855, yes.
That was 36 years ago.
Oh my gosh. I know.
Let's go to break, please.
Our intern Brooke has no idea what we're talking about. She's like, who and who? 855-222.
Dennis Rodman,
Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio.
The father of the guy on the U.S. women's national team.
Yeah, right.
Dennis Rodman.
And Carmen Electra was the host of Singled Out after Jenny McCarthy.
Who and what?
MTV. What?
What's that?
855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. All right, we didn't get to it. The great debate series continues. We do this next. Greatest NFL coach of all time. Do that after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Well, last night the Angels said they were not going to trade Shohei Ohtani, and today he was bolstered by that as they're all in after picking up Lucas Giolito from the White Sox, and Ohtani went out today and continued his MVP-like season. A complete game one-hitter. He struck out 8 and walked 3 as the Angels took the first part of a doubleheader in Detroit by a score of 6-0. Taylor Ward with a couple of home runs in the win for the Angels. The Guardians continue their chase of the Twins in the Central, trailing by 2 games, and will take on the White Sox tonight. Cleveland also got a head start on the trade market with last night's deal of Ahmed Rosario to the Dodgers. The Pirates have reportedly sent Carlos Santana to the Brewers for a minor league prospect. The Jets all in with Aaron Rodgers, and after the quarterback reworked his deal, they're looking to add more talent to try to win their first Super Bowl in 56 years, and will reportedly meet with free agent Dalvin Cook this weekend. While Dolphins corner Jalen Ramsey injured his left knee and needed to be carted off, there's no word on the severity of the injury, and Notre Dame legend Johnny Lujack has passed away at the age of 98. I'm Rich Hacker.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. You want to watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Of course, we say hello and a big thank you to all of our CBS Sports Radio affiliates that you can listen to us across the country on the free Odyssey app and SiriusXM channel 158. Let's get to it. The Great Debate Series continues.
The Great Debate Series. Best coach ever.
Best NFL coach ever. We've been doing best at their position in the NFL all week long. So today we're going to do coach and then later in the show fan base. Am I going first?
Yeah, you go first with the coach.
Okay, here we go. The greatest coach in the history of the NFL is none other than the hoodie himself. It's Bill Belichick. He's 31-13 in the playoffs. Almost need I say more. 17 division titles, 9 Super Bowl appearances with 6 wins. Also 2 wins as an assistant coach with the New York Jets. 3-time coach of the year. This is shocking a little bit. He won the 2021 Executive of the Year. Okay. In an era that was designed for parity, the New England Patriots' dominance over 20 years is what sets Belichick apart. Are there coaches with more wins like Don Shula? Yes, there are. But did Don Shula have to deal with this amount of parity in the league that the NFL is begging for new teams to be in the conversation year after year? And yet it was the Patriots, the Patriots, the Patriots. He has 9 more playoff wins than George Halas and Don Shula. Think about this. This is just recently in the last 2 years. Bill Belichick won a game on the road against the eventual AFC Championship team by throwing 3 passes. If that's not catering your game plan to the weather conditions, yes, it was against the Bills. If that's not catering to the weather conditions and your personnel, I don't know what is. This is somebody who doesn't ask what can you do for me? It's how can I put you in the best position to succeed? That whole do your job thing, most coaches aren't doing that. They're doing some kind of system or whatever. Belichick will find exactly what you do well, and that's exactly what you'll do for as long as you're wearing a Patriots uniform. He's a student of the game. His teams are consistently the most disciplined, the most fundamentally sound. They're the, stupid BS penalties that other coaches and other teams have does not happen. And by the way, can never say that he's been propped up by his assistants, because all of his assistants basically go to other teams and fail outside of Nick Saban.
That's a good point.
So,
all right, we're running out of time.
There we go.
Bill Belichick.
There you go.
Okay, I am going with legendary coach Paul Brown. Let's hear from Bill Belichick on who he thinks the greatest coach in the history of the NFL is.
Playbook, assistant coaches, game planning, training methods, strategy, scouting, all the things that Paul Brown did when he was with the Cleveland Browns. I continue to do the same things he did. Change the game, really, to make it professional football. Championship after championship, the greatest coach in football.
He's the greatest coach in football history. He worshiped Paul Brown. Let me give you Paul Brown's innovations. First head coach to give his prospective players intelligence tests. Well, that's been a little polarizing now.
Yeah.
First head coach in all sports to integrate African Americans into pro sports with Marion Motley and Bill Wills in 1946. He was the first coach to have his players wear face masks. He was the first coach to have classroom instruction on the professional level. He was the first coach to use film study ever. First one to have a practice squad. first one to have a playbook. The radio helmet, he invented that, and they actually outlawed it. He had a guy run in who had a transistor radio coming from the top of the stadium. Invented everything as we know in football. Won at the high school level at Massillon. Won at Ohio State, won a championship. Then came the pros and won multiple times with Cleveland. The guy invented everything we know about coaching as we know, and that's why Bill Belichick and everyone worships him. Just real quick, his coaching tree. Look at his coaching tree. It is Don Shula, Bill Walsh, Weeb Eubank, and Chuck Noll. That's like 75% of the Lombardi trophies in the last 30 years. He was so significant that he's also not only the greatest coach, he's got to be the most underrated coach. Because did any other coach invent anything, or did Paul Brown do everything?
Oh, my gosh. Who's hounding the committee year after year about rule changes? It's always Belichick. Paul Brown is amazing. He was just first.
Dude invented the face mask and the playbook. The playbook. He was the first one who ever wrote down the plays in a book and handed it out.
Like they wouldn't have thought of that anyway.
They wouldn't have.
They would have.
It's crazy how much he invented. I mean, if you ever, Bill Belichick actually talks about LT, who I died yesterday. What's the word? He raps poetically or poetically rap. There's a rhapsodizing. Wax is poetic about LT. He loves
Stu
Paul
wears
Brown.
a suit. Now all of a sudden, look what's happening.
He loves Paul Brown so much because Paul Brown is like a coach's coach. Also, he won a lot. I mean, listen, I love Bill Belichick. I think he's right there. And can we say Lombardi's name real quick?
Yeah, say it.
I mean, Vince Lombardi's a little different. I think you could say Vince Lombardi's the greatest coach ever. I think both of us could have made that argument as well.
Well,
he's in
chat,
the conversation.
There's a lot of talk about Bill Walsh in the chat.
Oh, another one.
Bill Walsh as an innovator, absolutely. But we're talking about greatest of all time.
But Walsh credits Paul Brown for teaching him everything about the forward pass. Anyway, that's it.
There you go. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. You want to weigh in on who is the greatest NFL coach of all time. Coming up, one college football coach wants a major shakeup in the biggest rivalry game of the year. It's big stuff, people. It's all going on right now. We'll get you the latest in just a moment. Maggie and Perloff and you, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, boy. There's a lot of jelly left. I thought she was making progress. There's a lot of jelly left.
See, I told you.
She needed to hear.
Fake lifelines that
Oh,
you
my
were
gosh.
giving me.
I think this is going to end up worse than the peanut butter challenge, and I was sick for 4 days.
Oh, no.
I'm like, my hands are shaking.
No, this is going.
This is all the
This is
sugar.
going terribly awry. Do you want to take a small break and then maybe we assess your vitals?
I kind of want to just drink a little water and maybe
Yeah.
stand up.
Why don't we
Maybe just start running out of the office.
Honestly,
Well,
real talk here.
That was just
Real
a
talk
really
here.
big bite there.
Can we get some makeup? You look green.
Please don't tell me I need makeup.
That's mean.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We got a lot to get to today, including major news in college football with one team. Well, the vote just came down not just a few hours ago. Looks like they're going to be leaving their conference for a new one. But before we get to that, something that just happened, the game just ended, and that is Shohei Ohtani pitched the first game of a doubleheader in Detroit today with the Angels on the road. The first complete game of his career.
Wow.
9 innings, allowed just 1 hit, 8 strikeouts, walked 3 batters, did this all in a very tidy 111 pitches. So this comes the day after the report comes out from Tom Verducci that the Angels are no longer shopping. Maybe they were never shopping Shohei Ohtani, but they're no longer listening to offers. And in fact, the opposite is true now. They are now buyers at the deadline, coming to an agreement on a trade with Lucas Giolito, the former starting pitcher for the White Sox.
Are you willing to admit now that Artie Moreno might be doing the right thing by keeping Shohei Ohtani?
No, this was never the See, you're playing the results. I'm playing the process.
I said it last week.
I know, but you're playing the results, and I'm playing the process, which is Shohei Ohtani. You don't know what's going to happen with this playoff race, and once you get to the playoffs, you don't know. And the fact is, Ohtani's going to leave unless you win the World Series, I guess.
Well, first of all, there's a chance he stays. There's got to be. I mean, small chance? No. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. But that hasn't really been the messaging, right? So right now they're now 3.5 games out of the final wild card spot. And okay, maybe they do make the playoffs, but I think if he leaves and you get almost nothing for him, your process is broken there. You haven't done what you need to do, which is try to get prospects back to create the new cornerstone and foundation of your team. I
think, honestly, this 3 months of Shohei Ohtani, at least trying to get the wild card, is more valuable than 5 years of building up these prospects. And the Angels can't develop any pitchers anyway. So what's the point of that? If he had thrown this one hitter in a Baltimore Orioles uniform, Artie Moreno would have just quit. He would have just said, I'm done being the owner of the Angels. That's enough. Honestly, I think for how many months? Is it 3 months? I think it's well worth giving up that future possibility. Because baseball prospects are iffy. This was a no-brainer. And also, Trout comes back very soon. This is the most. I take 3 months of excitement rather than 6 years of being a little bit better.
When somebody like that, if he does leaves for nothing. I mean, do you remember when Dan Gilbert got all in his feelings about LeBron's decision?
Yeah.
This is what happens is you're going to feel this is not going to be great. But listen, for now, this is fun with the Angels, so I'm not going to be like a storm cloud here. I just don't like the process. Ohtani's been telling you without telling you. Yeah. It's not like he's been hiding this. He wants to go to a place that's a consistent winner. He's been in the majors now for 5 years and has never played in a playoff game. So even if they do make it this year, that's not a consistent winner.
Yeah, but you got to look at it from the viewpoint of ownership. You can't be the one who traded Shohei. You can't be the guy who traded Babe Ruth. It just never looks good. I'd rather let him walk for free. Because
was Babe Ruth traded for money for No Net? Broadway
right.
show?
You don't want to be. You don't want to have any folklore about how you traded Shohei Ohtani, and you obviously could not trade him to the Dodgers because you couldn't let your crosstown rival, who you've always been competing against. He might go there, but let him go in free agency. I think, honestly, if the Angels had gotten a bunch of prospects, they would have screwed that up anyway. That's my honest thought on this. So you might as well do just 2 months of Shohei.
Okay, so turning now to college football. It looks like the university presidents on the Big 12, the Big 12's university presidents unanimously approved membership for the Colorado Buffaloes should it formally apply. They're gone. Okay, so Colorado Board of Regents meeting is scheduled for Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's possible that Colorado is going to submit the application to join the Big 12 following the meeting that the Regents vote to depart on the Pac-12. All that to say, it looks like Colorado's on the doorstep, and it's all but a formality now that they are going to leave the Pac-12 and they're going to go to the Big 12. And my first thought on this, Perloff, is, man, how did the Pac-12 screw this all up so badly? It's one thing if you're competing with the Big Ten and you lose USC and you lose UCLA, and it is tough. That's tough to stomach. But it's USC and UCLA. You are always going to get a lot of competition. You can't keep Colorado. And that's I know there's a Deion Sanders aspect now that Colorado is maybe getting some of the glory that they've, had when I was younger, like the Cordell Stewart times. But you can't keep Colorado. What is the future of this conference?
Yeah, it might be in big trouble. I actually had another thought too, Colorado going to the Big 12. To me, the latest rounds of reconfiguration signal that we're moving really close to the two-conference alignment.
Yeah.
So it's going to be SEC and Big Ten. So why is Colorado? They're already opting out. They're like, well, we're not going to be part of the big boys.
Well, I don't know, because then something's going to happen with the Big 12. Maybe they get absorbed into the SEC. I have no idea
the Big 12 is not going to have anybody that anyone's going to want, are they?
Well, I don't know about that. But for now, I'm assuming when you say two big conferences, it's going to be like the NFL, where you have the AFC and the NFC.
Right,
so
the SEC and the Big Ten.
Right, but you're going to have more than 16 teams on both those conferences, right?
Right.
Won't they grow?
So SEC gets Clemson, North Carolina, Florida State, and the Big Ten gets Notre Dame, Washington, Oregon. And then pretty much everybody else falls to the wayside to go to the minor conferences, right?
Interesting.
Isn't that sort of how it's all going to work?
I don't know, but I can kind of understand, I guess, where Colorado might be coming from here, which is the Big 12 already has their media deal. You know, it just feels like the Big 12 is getting marginally stronger, where the Pac-12 is clearly getting marginally weaker. And then the big question becomes, what happens for Oregon and for Washington? What are they going to do? Because once they go, then it's really curtains.
Yeah, no, the Pac-12, it seems like an afterthought. But I think they're not going to go down alone. I think it's going to – I think everything seems to be headed towards two conferences. I think ACC –
But we're talking about 10 years down the line here.
Not that far. ACC, you know, there was a report this spring by Brett McMurphy that Clemson, North Carolina are contacting lawyers to get out of the grant. They want to – you know, basketball is a bit of a problem, but I think they want to get to the SEC as fast as possible. And Notre Dame can do whatever they want. So they can join the Big Ten. You really think we're talking about 10, 15 years before? And also, keep an eye on Washington and Oregon. I know that this round they didn't go to the Big Ten, but it just feels like it's going to happen sooner than 10 years to me, especially if what you said happens, the Pac-12 is really close to dissolving. They're going to get out of there.
Well, what is also, I don't want to say it's not funny by any stretch, but it's not funny, ha-ha, but it's like funny, interesting. The Pac-12 just had their media day on Friday. And the commissioner of the Pac-12 was asked about any teams like leaving and was like, no, unequivocally, no more teams. We're good. And it's Thursday of the next week. And all of a sudden Colorado's gone or is going to be gone.
Yeah,
I mean, last to know.
Welcome to business in the Pac-12.
I know, but like it's bad business.
Oh, yeah. It's been bad for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they claim that they're holding out for the right media rights deal, and they don't just want the first deal, they want the best deal. But I don't know. I find this really sad because, you know, Pac-12 does have a lot of history. It does have a legacy. There's a lot of good football being played there, and it's like going to have a great season this year because not just Dion, which is going to be interesting, but all these great quarterbacks are going to be in the Pac-12 this year. And it's like, all right, now what? You know, what's the future of this conference? It's just really, it's a shame.
Yeah, it'd be nice this year, too, to get because USC and UCLA are leaving, to get a Final Four team. Wait, the 12 is 2 years, right?
Yeah, that's 2024.
Right. So it'd be nice if they could sink in the Final Four, but it's not going to be easy. I mean, USC was their best hope last year. And I think maybe one of the reasons that they downplayed their media day was because USC and UCLA are leaving. So they don't really want to showcase USC right now. Because
well, I mean, we had Caleb Williams on the show. That was fun.
No, but I don't think, yeah, I know. But I feel like Pac-12 is kind of in limbo right now. Like, they don't have any answers.
I know,
why they almost want to hide from the media?
You want to know the one day of the year you really have to put on the brave face? Media day.
Yeah, but everyone's going to ask about the TV deal, and everyone's going to ask about, hey, what's it going to be like when USC leaves? And no one has an answer.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Yes?
There might be some very interesting developing news coming out of Cincinnati.
Oh, what?
Oh, are you kidding?
It has nothing to do with Skyline Chili.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There is video out there of Joe Burrow scrambling, going down in a heap, and now being carted off the field. Joe Burrow carted off the field in Cincinnati.
No. Nobody wants to see that.
A non-contact injury. You see him running. I can show you the videos.
I'm going to watch it right now.
See him running, and he just goes down.
Oh, no. I'm about to watch the video here. I know this is not amazing radio. Oh, God. Yeah. He pulls up, though. Yeah. Totally non-contact, rolling out to his right, and then down in a heap. And by the way, can somebody run out to him? Everyone taking their sweet time. He's the franchise, everybody. Can you run out and give him some attention? Oh, boy.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, maybe it's not
the
that
AFC is
well,
that AFC dominance is falling apart pretty fast.
Oh, let's not say it too quickly. I mean, hopefully he's okay. Nobody wants to see that at all. That would be awful if something bad happens there. But, of course, this does come on the heels of Jalen Ramsey from the Miami Dolphins, the standout corner who also suffered a non-contact injury yesterday,
And I don't want to, throw us into the mush category, but we literally were talking about the Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow contract ties, and then the idea of what if Joe Burrow gets hurt?
But we didn't talk about before the contract. Did we?
I think we discussed before. We were talking a lot with like the NBA and the Supermax contracts and things along those lines, but I think we kind of mentioned also like what happens if while Joe's figuring this out, he gets hurt. I mean, fingers crossed.
Okay,
I think everyone's rooting for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, but fingers crossed here.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to see this. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are such an awesome story, and I might root for a team against them, but I am not rooting for this at all. The other thing, though, is it doesn't matter if he's hurt; he's still getting paid.
Totally.
There's not going to be one less dollar that he's going to get. This happened with Dak Prescott. Remember when he got hurt?
Dak broke his ankle. It got the full deal.
Joe Burrow's the money is not going to be in jeopardy here. I don't think. Listen, Burrow had the torn ACL his rookie year, right? Came back from that, played great.
Yeah, let's hope it's not that.
I think it's because Stu dressed like someone from a funeral home today. I'm kidding.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey, too. There's funny. Some of the teammates I'm reading the quotes are now saying that, okay, we hope it's not the ACL. But
what, for the Bengals?
Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, for Ramsey.
Because Jalen Ramsey tried to stay on the field. You know how ACLs are, too. Sometimes you feel like you can still run around with it. So I like what you said. Let's not jump to the negative here and hope that nothing serious happened.
Also, Burrow's grabbing at the calf.
Oof.
It looks like early reports say calf.
Okay, calf you can come back from.
Oh, not Achilles, though, right?
It could be. I mean, he's definitely limping on that side. It could be calf, lower leg. If it's calf, it could be muscle. Maybe that's a little bit easier to come back from.
And if it's Achilles, a serious Achilles, he'd be on the ground.
He was on the ground.
Right. Did he ever get up?
He hobbled and was carried to the cart.
Let's hope it's not an Achilles injury too. Oh, well.
So the one thing about the Achilles that they always say is you always look behind you. It feels like somebody stepped on the back of your foot.
Yeah.
And you don't see that. He kind of comes up hobbling.
And every Achilles injury that I've seen, they immediately reach for that ankle.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like he did.
Do that.
No. So fingers crossed. We just don't know. But it's funny. Everyone has their fandom and who they're rooting for, but it feels like outside of your own team, everyone seems to be on the Bengals.
Well,
and on Joe Burrow's bandwagon.
Obviously, guys, super easy to like. The Bengals are easy to like, that. But this is one of the great rivalries we've got going right now between the Bengals and the Chiefs. It's because I was, watching the quarterback show on Netflix, and this matters to Mahomes. I'm sure it matters to Burrow too, but we get the unfiltered Mahomes in this documentary series. He cares about this.
Oh, the whole Burrow head thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
He does.
Yeah, because he said it on Netflix quarterback.
Perloff.
There was a
so
camera
cynical,
in the room?
and I get pegged as being the cynical.
Do you know when a quarterback is lying when he says something in a documentary on Netflix?
Jeez.
Yeah, I can't believe you bought the most manicured documentary I've ever seen in my entire life.
Burrow went 3-0 against Mahomes before last year's AFC Championship game. It's a real rivalry.
I mean, we should be excited that this will be the only season of it because no other quarterback will ever do this show again.
Oh, yeah, no one wants to do it. I'm telling you, it's because Cousins came out looking weird. People like him. It's not that. I think
Cousins looked pretty weird before the thing.
Before the memory closet?
I'm telling you, every one of us wants a memory closet.
Did you guys see the outfit that Cousins wore to the first day of camp, by the way?
No.
Oh, my God.
Oshkosh bagosh?
It was a short sleeve tartan Cole special. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. He said the wife says she picks it all out.
Yeah, I saw that scene.
I'm like, that's not helping either, Chica.
Yeah, she's like, why?
Are you colorblind, lady?
Did you hear what she said? She goes, I think this is what a man should, the people watching Kirk Cousins, they probably wear this. And I think he's right. I think there are a lot of people, so the media doesn't like his outfits.
Yeah.
But you should look at the shirt.
I'll take a look.
It's a tartan plaid, short sleeve collar.
But for Perloff and for Samter, you guys are married. Your wives don't pick out your clothes.
No, my wife could care less what I wear.
I mean,
maybe for if you're going to a wedding or something, it's all right, what tie am I going to put with this? But for the most part, you guys dress yourselves, right?
You mean on a daily basis or buying clothes and what's going to be in our wardrobe?
She picks out his outfits every day like I do for my 4-year-old.
So my wife will certainly go shopping and get clothes for me.
Get you stuff, sure.
Yeah, but I'm not, she's not picking out my outfit. That's weird.
She picks out this is a nice fall shirt. He should wear this today.
Yeah, that's weird.
My wife won't shop for me. Is that bad? Should I ask her to? She'd care less. Do you shop for your husband?
I pick up a couple things.
I don't think you go out shopping for your husband. I think that you just happen to be somewhere and then, this would look nice on so-and-so. And now with all the online shopping, my wife was just like, she's clicking through everything. And then the next thing I know, like 3 boxes come in, and I got jeans and a T-shirt. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Can I tell you what happened to me the other day? Speaking of shopping and ordering things online, I ordered some mosquito repellent thing for our back deck because a friend of mine had it, and it seemed like hers worked really well. I ordered it at midnight on Saturday, and it showed up at my door by 8 a.m. the next day. Is that not remarkably fast?
And creepy.
Right?
So
midnight, 8 a.m.
I did something. Do you remember my tortoise catastrophe the other day?
Well, you told us only half of the story.
I'll just tell you real quick. There was a fly infestation inside the tortoise cage. Hundreds of flies.
Perloff has a pet tortoise named Hermes.
Yes. So I had to get rid of all the bedding immediately. So poor
What's
Hermes.
the bedding? Like a Philadelphia Eagles, like a fleece or something?
No, it's like it's like cedar lizard bedding.
Oh.
Yeah, like at the bottom of a reptile cage. It's not like a blanket.
I wasn't sure.
Anyway, so I had to get new bedding. I said to my 12-year-old daughter, "Can you order new bedding on DoorDash?" She's like, "Yes, I can." It was there in 25 minutes.
Oh, nice.
From Petco. 25 minutes. What's going on here? You're right. It's insane.
I don't know. The drones. I'm
Amazon's
not sure. I love it,
fast.
though. Like, I appreciate that it shows up this quickly. I didn't even need it that fast.
But I think that there's always a downside. I don't know what it is, but there's always a downside with something like
It's
this.
usually the environment. 855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. So what was that? Colorado. They're leaving, maybe, to go to the Big 12. I think that's what we were talking about.
And just a quick update.
Oh, and Joe Burrow.
Zach Taylor spoke to the media. He said it is a calf issue, a right leg injury, and a calf issue. So we haven't had an update specifically, but
Okay. Well, that's better than
Achilles or knee.
definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
the knee
calf
is always
injuries
a
are
year.
not.
Yeah, because now
it's
we're
not a
talking
picnic.
muscles and we're not talking ligaments or tendons.
No, I mean, calf injuries is not a picnic, but that's far from the worst case scenario. All right. So there we go. Who the Bengals open with? At Cleveland, I believe. Then Baltimore, Rams, at Tennessee, at Arizona, Seattle, then the bye. Not a terrible opener. Not terrible. Stinks to have 2 divisional games, though, week 1 and week 2. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, coming up, we've got our great debate series. Continues. We've already done greatest coach of all time in the NFL. Coming up, greatest fan base of all time. We got that for you. So much more. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. All right, Maggie, what is the latest that you're seeing on Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback?
Okay, so unfortunately, Burrow pulled up in a practice today doing looked like, just offensive sets, drills. There was a defense there. And as he's rolling out to his right, kind of pulls up and starts limping and then goes down in a heap. Zach Taylor, do we have it? Here's the latest from Bengals head coach Zach Taylor.
Just saw his calf. It was 10 minutes ago, so we don't have any more information than that. This is football. Guys go down with an injury that maybe is a day thing. Who knows? So we don't message the team after every single person goes down. There's a lot of guys that had soreness today that had that reps cut down a little bit. So that's just part of playing football and training.
Sounds like it's don't panic.
Sure.
What did he say there? So don't panic.
And he said sure. Oh, jeez.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. They don't want to message anything right now, right? Because they don't know. So you don't want to be talking so overly positive or negative because you're just waiting. This just happened a few minutes ago. Listen, here's the thing about the calf. It's much better than any kind of Achilles or knee. We know that. Calf can take anywhere from, 2 weeks, Perloff, to maybe like a month. The one thing about the calf and when it's like the muscle injuries, the soft tissue or whatever, is you don't want to worry about just re-aggravating it over and over and over again. So is it something that could be, again, we don't know the severity. We're all just kind of spitballing here. But, is it something where it just becomes nagging throughout the season? Or maybe not. Maybe he's dehydrated and had a cramp. Who knows?
I wondered about that, too.
This could go any different type of way.
So I just doing a little research here. I was trying to think of some serious quarterback calf injuries. And I had forgotten this. Remember Aaron Rodgers went out with a calf injury in May with the Jets? and had to skip the rest of the
just now.
Yeah.
In the spring.
And he was fine, obviously. I remember Christian McCaffrey, he had a nagging calf injury, and I'm telling you right now, he was good against the Eagles in the NFC title game. He was not quite the same. So I think you said it perfectly. There is one concern that it's never 100%. He's a quarterback. You know what? It's just a reminder, Maggie. This whole thing is going to be a war of attrition. And it's a bummer because I love this time of year because everyone's in it and everyone has a great chance. But we're going to see injuries in training camp that are going to change our outlook immediately.
Well, hopefully Burrow's not one of them.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is just a blip because anytime a season gets robbed of a great quarterback, it does stink, Yeah. It's the worst type of injury. And I'm not trying to, say, it doesn't matter if, your great pass rusher goes down. It does, but there's something about the league is so great because you care to watch teams that you're not a fan of. Like, I don't care who's playing Thursday Night Football. I'm watching. I don't care who's playing Monday Night Football. I'm watching. I'm not necessarily glued to every Sunday Night Baseball game all the time. The league has a leg up like that.
Well, I know you only watch the Michael K. A-Rod version on ESPN.
the K-Rod cast, right? So this is the thing. It's like whenever a great quarterback goes down, it's like we all kind of get bummed out about it.
Well, and also the reality of today's NFL, by week 17, you're not even going to know half the quarterbacks. Because everybody goes down at some point. Hopefully, again, this is nothing. It does point to this crazy AFC. Not to be insensitive at all, but there's too many Super Bowl contenders, and some of them are going to have to fall off by just attrition. Or, they're 4 legit division title contenders. You could say Pittsburgh has a great argument, Cleveland has a great argument, Baltimore has a great argument, and Cincinnati's the king of the hill there.
Yep.
And I'm thinking about the AFC East is loaded, the AFC West is loaded. It's just interesting to me. I'm just curious what's going to happen in the AFC. There's 9 legit contenders right now. Injuries will probably knock out a few of them. Not saying that this will be Cincinnati's case, but they can't all. There's so many teams that everyone says are going to win 12 games in the AFC. It can't all happen.
No, it's not all going to happen. And as we heard from Sean Payton in his quotes to USA Today, he does not think it's going to happen to the Jets, or at least that was the insinuation when he said, just watch, just wait. They were the team last year that had all the hype, and it ended up becoming an embarrassing season for the Denver Broncos. Now he said this has happened to the Jets. He got Hard Knocks. He got all the attention. And if you don't put in the work, it's going to be bad.
I think that's a misinterpretation of Sean Payton's words, in the sense that I don't think he was specifically predicting anything about the Jets, because I don't think he even cared enough about the Jets to predict anything about them. He was just using them as an offhanded example. It didn't seem like he was really sending a message to the Jets there.
Well, whether he was intending to send the message to the Jets or not, the message is going to be received when you say, quote, we're not doing any of that stuff this year. The Jets did that this year. You watch. Hard Knocks, all of it. Yeah. I can see it coming. Like, what can he see coming? The Super Bowl ring? No, clearly he's saying I can see it coming. Yeah. The doom, like that, the disappointment.
It feels like to me like he's talking about a college football team. He doesn't even take the Jets seriously enough to care about giving them bulletin board material.
Well, that's a mistake.
He's in Denver. What does he care about the Jets?
Well, first of all, they play each other in week 4, so that's number 1. But number 2, you're talking about the AFC. If the Broncos are hoping to be a playoff team, who do you think you might meet in the first round?
I think that Sean Payton would take that problem, and I think the Jets would take that problem too.
Listen, I'm just saying that it's odd for coaches to be this outright and open about it. And listen, he also, you want to talk about getting personal, Nathaniel Hackett is the offensive coordinator for the Jets, and Sean Payton said of last year, quote, it might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's not afraid to talk trash about the Jets, because he knows Nathaniel Hackett's the offensive coordinator there.
You know what else is the reason why I'm kind of surprised by this? Nathaniel Hackett's dad is Paul Hackett, who's a longtime coach. There's like a fraternity part of this. Where I know guys get snippy with each other. Rex Ryan said, I'm not here to kiss Belichick's rings. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh had a big issue with Jim Schwartz. Oh my gosh, we've seen other Eric Mangini and Bill Belichick, with the whole Spygate stuff. Coaches go after each other a little bit, but usually when it's like a second generation in the coaching fraternity, you don't see guys call each other out like that.
Yeah, but I feel like Sean Payton is a little Belichickian right now. Like, he's above the fray.
Belichick would never do this.
Well, right, that's a good point, but I don't think he cares. I don't think he considers himself in the same class with Nathaniel Hackett. I think he thinks I'm one of the best coaches in NFL history. It seems to me he was being very observational about the Jets, and it didn't even dawn on him that there's any kind of real rivalry here. Like, in a million years, like that's his. First of all, he's probably worried about the Chiefs. I would imagine.
He should be worried about the Chiefs.
I don't think it's almost like I know they're in the same conference, but it's almost like he's talking an American League team talking about a National League team. That's my sense of this quote. Then again, to give Payton a little more defense, we didn't hear him say it. It was a quote. This could have been more context, but I don't know. Now I'm thinking of betting the under on the Jets now that Sean Payton said that because Sean Payton's really smart too.
How about this from Sean Payton, Mr. What do you call him? One of the greatest coaches of all time? I don't know about that. But
Sean Payton? Oh, he's an offensive genius.
Yeah.
I'd say he's top 10 offensive coach of all time.
He made a video. I'm sorry. He had a video made. He had a video made that hammered home the point that the 2022 season was over and done with. I'm reading this from USA Today. The video included the image of some team equipment staff members riding off in an orange Ford Bronco with the rear view and side mirrors removed. They edited a scene from the movie Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. This is amazing. We were just talking about this yesterday, where John Candy's character drove the wrong way on the freeway. And the video that Payton had them make included a shot of that Ford Bronco driving off a cliff. Dude, a little on the nose. Drive off a cliff with members of the equipment staff? It's kind of morbid.
No, are those current members of the equipment staff?
No, they were I think people who have been let go. How about this? This is another creepy one. Tell me what you would think if your boss showed you a video before you start the year or whatever, before you start your job. And it was baby iguanas. Apparently, when baby iguanas are hatched, they pop their heads out of the sand and snakes are waiting to, like, eat them. So they have to run for this cliff. And if you don't make it, then you don't make it. It's like the, survival of the fittest type of thing. And that's what Sean Payton showed what he called a creepy video, a nature video of baby iguanas being eaten by snakes. What if your boss did that? I'd be like, you're insane. What the hell is wrong with you? You'd like that?
I don't know. Football coaches are odd. I'm into all this. This is great.
You're into this.
Yeah.
You want to watch a baby iguana get eaten by a snake? This is something you're into.
It's football. Yeah. This sounds like a football guy move if I ever heard one.
Do you need that kind of metaphor? Like, got it.
Yeah, no, I like it. Violent. This is a dude who oversaw Bountygate, and I know he said he didn't oversee it, but he clearly did oversee it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a Parcells guy. It's the kind of stuff you got to do. You got to eat some baby lizards once in a while.
You think Bill Parcells is doing this? I doubt it. Bill Parcells is just like, I'm going to scream louder and curse more. I'm not going to show you a video of baby iguanas getting eaten by a snake.
I don't mind this particular video.
The message is we've got to hit the ground running. There's a sense of urgency. Yeah, I think we got that. You don't have to tell us what the metaphor is, or else you really think your players are dumb. I think we got it.
Do you not like Sean Payton?
No, I do. Yeah. I just think this stuff is eyewash. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of coaches at the professional level who rah-rah it like that. I think the professional players, they have all different types of motivations. To show them a snake and iguanas and that stuff to me is like, it doesn't do anything.
Sean Payton, listen to these records. The last 5 years in New Orleans: 9-8, 12-4, 13-3, 13-3, 12-5. I think he had a good thing going with Drew Brees, but man, if Denver can get half that winning percentage, they'll be in great shape. And I think he's a great play caller. You're right. None of that matters. He's actually a really, really good play caller, but he's never had to do it in an outdoor stadium. I think it's going to be good. I'm pretty excited about
I think it's
this.
going to be good. Listen, It can't get worse.
Yeah, that's the thing. The bar is very low. That's a good point.
The one thing is that's just like a little bit in the back of my mind is, you remember, like, there were multiple interviews that he went on with the Broncos. Like, it wasn't, hey, we met and had like this good meeting of the minds and this is a fit and let's get this done. It took months for this to happen.
I think at the end of the day, he looked at this team and he said, "Ooh, they're getting Garrett Bowles back. They're getting Tim Patrick back. Like, I'm going to look like a genius because it's just going to be a fully staffed offense." Compared to last year, they're playing third stringers and fourth stringers everywhere.
Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4227. Chris is in Texas, again weighing in on our great debate series as we appreciate it. What's up, Chris?
Not a whole lot. But
What do you got, pal?
Well, I got to disagree with you on the greatest cheater there of all time, Bill Belichick.
Yep. How about if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying?
The guy with that wore the funny hat, stone face, 20-plus years of consecutive winning seasons. Tom Landry, who never had to cheat in his life. Now, we only got 2 Super Bowl wins with him, but there was some shenanigans going on there with some of the refereeing.
Wait, what?
Pittsburgh.
All right. Chris, thank you for weighing in. Tom Landry was considered. Ackerman, you know what he's talking about here with the shenanigans?
I thought that was a reference to Bill Belichick.
No, he said something about the shenanigans with the referees and said Pittsburgh.
He's a Cowboys fan.
No, I don't. Unless he thinks there was something going on in Super Bowls 10 or 13, nothing comes to mind.
How about the time when they cheap shotted Terry Bradshaw and almost killed him and still won the game?
And then, Jack Lambert then hit. I don't remember who. I think it was Cliff Harris in Super Bowl 10 because if it was Cliff Harris, my memory escapes me on this one. Kind of taunted Roy Jarrell after a missed field goal.
Oh, there you go.
And Jack Lambert just came over and threw him to the ground.
Hey, speaking of taunting, sorry, my brain went here. Did you guys watch the Women's World Cup game last night? Women are down 1-0 to the Dutch. And one of the Dutch players takes out Lindsey Horan, her knee. Dirty tackle. Stu, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was
Not
a dirty tackle. And Lindsay was like not having it, and they were jawing back and forth to the point where the referee had to come in and like separate them and get all the women like calm down and everything because it was not cool. And then set piece, corner kick, U.S. like not 10 seconds after the referee has to split up Lindsay and the Dutch player. Corner kick. Lindsay heads the ball into the back of the net, ties the game up 1-1. I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
That was just like, don't you dare poke Lindsay. She's a captain. Yes?
No, I just remembered. I think he might be referring to Super Bowl 13 when Betty Barnes got caught up with Lynn Swann. So
could have been it.
But I don't think that. I mean, that's not as egregious as. I mean, Cowboy fans are upset, but I don't.
Oh, Betty Barnes.
Yes. So.
Talking about the women's national team here.
I'm just saying.
It's big time. Don't come at our captain like that. Don't try to take her knee out. Boom. Is anyone else as fired up about this last night? No? Perloff, you weren't on the couch with the kids?
My daughter made me watch. I watch a little of the soccer. My daughter made me watch Bird Box. What's it called? Bird, the terror movie with Sandy Bullock. Anyway, they made a version in Spain, and I had to watch it last night. It was a horror movie, so I had a long night. What's that movie called? You guys help me out.
Bird
Box,
It was
right?
called Bird
Box Barcelona, Bird Box 2. Have you guys seen Bird Box 1? It's where those monsters kill you.
No.
I didn't know of it until just now.
You didn't know the Sandra Bullock movie, The Blindfold, when she's, it's the Blindfold movie. So, and I kept going to my daughter, can we watch the Women's World Cup now?
Yeah.
She's like, no, because I was scared and I wanted to turn it off. And she's like, no, I'm like, you would love this. And finally, we got to the very, very end. It was a tie.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I know. They had many chances at the end, too, and just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. Anyway, but they did get the tie. I can't imagine if all of a sudden my kid is into horror movies.
Oh, it's the worst.
I would not be able to handle it.
It's going to happen soon. You'd be by fifth grade. They've all seen It, the clown horror movie.
I can't even read the book. I'd be too scared. 855-212-4CBS. Speaking of scared, by the way, aliens maybe landing on this planet. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And is this not the biggest news story that's happened maybe in our lifetime? And it's like nobody cares. Don't understand it. Get to that. Plus, the great debate series continues. Best fan base ever. We'll do that after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Well, encouraging news regarding 18-year-old Bronny James, the eldest son of LeBron, has been discharged from the hospital 3 days after going into cardiac arrest and is now back home. The summer can be an anxious time in the NFL Bengals camp today. Joe Burrow was carted off after hurting his leg. Head coach Zach Taylor said it was a calf injury. There is no word on the severity of that injury and how much time he might miss. The Dolphins also holding their breath after Jalen Ramsey was carted off the field with an injured left knee. The Lions, of course, had the same thing happen with C.J. Gardner-Johnson the other day. Unfortunately, he's okay. Free agent running back Dalvin Cook is still looking for a new home and will reportedly meet with the Jets this weekend now that they have plenty of cap space after Aaron Rodgers reworked his deal. Johnny Lujak, the 1947 Heisman Trophy winner, has died at the age of 98. He led Notre Dame to 3 national championships. The Angels today get a complete game one-hit shutout from Shohei Ohtani to take game 1 of a doubleheader in Detroit by a score of 6-0. Game 2 is underway, and the Angels out in front to a 3-0 lead in the top of the second. I'm Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports is everywhere, at home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff still waiting more word on Joe Burrow. If you're just getting into your car or tuning in right now, he was carted off the field today. It was like an 11-on-11 drill, or, they're running a play. He rolls out to the right, non-contact, sort of pulls up, limps on it for a little bit on his right calf, then kind of collapsed into a heap. They're saying it is a calf, but no more update after that. And Zach Taylor, the head coach, really didn't want to play it either way. Not saying positive or negative.
Yeah, I keep watching this video, and it's so scary, too. He's not doing anything unusual. No. He's just scrambling to the right as one usually does. Now, I did see just looked it up. It's 95 and 60% humidity in Cincinnati. It's blazing hot there today. Don't know if that played any effect. I feel, when you're dehydrated, maybe you're more prone to getting injured. I mean, I'd have to guess.
Maybe it's a cramp. I don't know.
Could be, hopefully.
Hopefully we'll get more info here as he gets x-rays and things like that.
Yeah.
We'll keep you updated. Let's get to the great debate series.
The Great Debate Series. Best fan base ever.
Best NFL fan base. We went to college. We might get death threats, so let's just keep it to the NFL here. Perloff, you have the floor.
I mean, you know who I'm going with. Is there even need to be a discussion about this?
The Dallas Cowboys?
Dallas Cowboys, no. I'm not going with Dallas Cowboys. I'm certainly not going with the New York Giants. I'm certainly not going with whatever that Washington team is calling themselves right now. Yeah, see a theme here? NFC East. And I'm actually being serious. This is not a homer opinion.
Yeah, sure.
The Philadelphia Eagles have the best fans in the NFL.
No.
I have 5 categories as to why. They are top 5 in these key 5 categories. Thank you. Make it 6 categories. The fact that we have a song, I forgot about that. Number 1.
Everyone has a song.
Okay. Loyalty. Definitely Eagles fans are there. Whether bad or good, the Eagles fans are full on all the time. 2, knowledge. Eagles fans are super smart. They call in WIP and pretend they know the intricacies of Jonathan Gannon's defense. Number 3, the ability to affect what's happening on the field. I'd say they're top 2 in that. That Niners game last year, basically the officials gave the Eagles a bunch of calls because they were afraid they were going to get murdered running off the field. They are an intimidating crowd, and the Eagles have a great home field advantage of that. Number 4, character. I think that counts. I mean, where else do they have a jail inside the stadium because the fans are having so much quote-unquote fun? And 5, importance to the city. The Eagles, everything about Philadelphia is tied into the Eagles. I also say there are 2 movies about Eagles fans, Silver Lining Playbook with Bradley Cooper and the Mark Wahlberg Invincible, where he was an Eagles fan. There's no movies about any other kind of fans that I recall. Well, there's one about Giants fans. But generally, though, Eagles fans get a lot of love. So I'm going to put them as number 1.
Boo. Unlike you, I'm also not going with a homer pick. I'm just going with factual evidence here. Go ahead, Stu. You can play it. I mean, if I said anyone but Buffalo, I'd be a fraud because they've earned this. Give me a place, not Green Bay, where it is consistently 0 degrees and the fans still show out. Again, not Green Bay. We know it's cold there, too. The Buffalo Bills also have a distinction, unlike your Eagles, where the Bills went through almost 20 years of losing. You want to talk about a fan base that is stuck by their team through thick and thin. The stadium still one of the best attendances in the NFL, even through all the losing. Now, you guys all have, outside of Buffalo, have the bandwagon here. Oh, now you love Josh Allen. Where were you with J.P. Lossman? You weren't there. What's behind me right now as a Bills fan? It's not a Josh Allen jersey. It's not Stephon Diggs, although I would like those. Freddie Jackson, Freddie J. This is someone who never won more than 6 games as a member of the Bills. Now they're great. Now we can, enjoy this. But it's a fan base who's been there through some of the worst times and still continues to show up, not in a dome, in freezing cold temperatures. Also, our food's better than your food. You love cheesesteaks, but buffalo wings are the best football food. That's why everyone's trying to emulate that. You're just trying to get what we've already got, and that's the buffalo wings. Not to mention, our fan base has supported other teams' charities more than any other team. Your boy Andy Dalton, his name is on the wing of a hospital because of Bills fans who donated to his charity. This is the most altruistic of fan bases. Also, what fan base lights themselves on fire and will throw themselves through a table? I'm not condoning that at all, but it does happen.
Was this? I'm sorry, I didn't know the category was the fan base that wore the most Zubaz pants. Because, yes,
we
Buffalo
lead the league in that too. Yeah.
Does anyone?
Most fashionable fan base.
Yes, this is the best fan base from 1988 who is sort of transposed themselves into the modern times. Like you go to that the old Rich Stadium. It's like a time warp. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's awesome. Everything's retro now. You see kids today are wearing stuff from the 90s. That's like basically everyone's wearing a 1991 fanny pack. Who was winning the AFC in 1991?
Serious question. Yeah. Who is a more intense fan base in your mind? I mean, they're both intense. I don't have a clear answer because jumping through a table is pretty intense. But I feel like Philadelphia fans they're really violent.
Can I just give a shout out though to another fan base that I thought that I really appreciate? It's the Raiders. A team that's moved around so much.
Yeah, but that also is a downside because their fans are more transitory.
But they're still passionate despite all these moves all over the place. I always think Raider fans deserve it too. Anyway, Eagles, Bills, what say you? Greatest fan base in the NFL, plus a Joe Burrow update on the other side.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is insane because
Perloff, you knew what you were signing up for.
No, but okay.
All of us did.
I understand that, but I don't see people walking around like, oh yeah, my brother-in-law died from a ghost pepper.
No,
this has never happened.
Grief.
People are also telling me that after you eat these wings, be very careful if you go to the restroom. For men, to go to the bathroom, you have to use your hands. That can be a very uncomfortable situation.
Have you
bad
seen the
enough
soap
for my
crowd?
throat to swell up. I don't want anything down there swelling up.
Maybe you do. I don't know.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show. Joe Burrow was carted off the field about an hour ago at Bengals practice. If you're just getting into your car or just getting to the show, welcome, first of all. But secondly, it's being called a calf issue. It's an 11-on-11 drill they're doing in Cincinnati. He rolls to his right, non-contact, pulls up, starts limping on the right calf. And one thing I'm noticing, Perloff, as I'm watching the video for the 100th time, is he's already got a sleeve on that calf.
Very interesting.
So I don't know what that was for. Who knows? But anyway, we have some audio from Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, was asked about Burrow.
I just saw his calf. You know, it was 10 minutes ago, so we don't have any more information than that. This is football. Guys go down with an injury that maybe is a day thing. Who knows? So we don't message the team after every single person goes down. There's a lot of guys that had soreness today that had reps cut down a little bit. So that's just part of playing football and training.
Sounds like it's don't panic.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to project like some confidence there when someone tells you, so don't panic, and you say, sure, it's not really having that effect.
That actually made me nervous. I got a solution, not a solution. I got a call they should be making right now.
Who's that?
They've already been linked to Carson Wentz as a potential backup. They lost their backup, Brandon Allen, in the offseason. He's a Niner now. I think he's a Niner. Yeah, I think he's fourth string on the Niners. How about Carson Wentz?
I mean, if this is all, if that's one of the first places you went to. Wait, who is their backup right now? Their backup is Trevor Siemian.
I think Carson Wentz is a different category than Trevor Siemian, don't you?
Yeah, he is, but I don't know. Let's see what they do, because if it is just cramps or maybe a light, a very insignificant strain, you still have a while to go here. They don't open up the season until September 10th. It's not even August yet.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just a nagging calf injury sounds like a great situation for a high-end backup, and you're kind of thin there right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Carson's out there. I can't cost any money. I don't know. I mean, you have a strong locker room. You don't have to worry about Carson Wentz being a pain.
Coming in and fouling it up.
Yeah, changing the
mojo.
Yeah, changing the station in the weight room was the great crime that Carson had in Philly.
How dare you?
I don't know. I'm already, because I think the Bengals are a Super Bowl contender, so you got to think like that.
Yeah, I guess the one thing, though, for Wentz would be learning a whole new system if he came in. I mean, again, there's time here. Calf injuries can be anywhere from, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, Mike brought up Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, right. He's out there as well.
I don't. You bring up a great question. Those guys, Teddy Bridgewater and Carson Wentz, have been on so many teams. They might know this system by now. You'd have to do some connecting.
The old Josh Johnson effect, or it's just like this guy he's been with every coach in the league.
Yeah, trust me. My buddy Case Keenum, I guarantee he knows it. Actually, I know as a fact he knows this because this is a Sean McVay, and I know he knows that offense. It's a Kubiak base. Anyway, get a veteran in there. I think this is a great message. Like, all these teams should have good backup quarterbacks. Look, the Eagles had Gardner Minshew last year.
Yeah, now they have Marcus Mariota. I guess, here's the thing. We don't even know if it's that bad yet. Yes, he did go down. They needed the cart. That's obviously precaution. I would try to be a little optimistic here. If it's not the knee and it's not the ankle, I know a calf's not ideal, but, I mean, hell, Justin Herbert was playing through broken ribs last year. Like, these guys are pretty tough, and you do have time before the season starts.
No. A rib, you could be tough to play through a broken rib. A calf and any leg injury, it's not a matter of toughness. It's a matter of having to make a key throw, and what if your leg isn't full strength? I don't think you'll gut out that kind of injury.
I think he could have time to get back to full strength,
of course.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and hopefully he will.
We saw Patrick Mahomes with the ankle playing.
High ankle sprain, won a Super Bowl.
He was limping around the whole game. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, just shoot it up.
Well,
I mean, listen, we don't know what it is yet, so we don't know.
We don't know, and that's tough. It's one thing, I think, to take a painkiller before the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's another to be like, all right, I got 17 weeks ahead of me of this, but listen, guys do crazy things to get on the field. I'm interested to see what happens. Hopefully it's not bad, because when an elite quarterback goes down, it's just such a bummer for the whole league. And obviously the Bengals have this great rivalry going with the Chiefs right now. Their division is amazing. They're all in. This is what we want. We want to see the quarterbacks at full strength.
Also, Joe Burrow has had a lot of momentum the last few weeks. He was doing a media tour yesterday. I forget what he was promoting, but he's got a cool new haircut, a new look.
Yeah, the longer hair.
Put on some muscle this offseason, was looking kind of ripped. And I think we need him as a counter to Patrick Mahomes, too. That was, as you said earlier in the show, that 1 versus 2. You need that in the NFL. You need sort of Payton versus Brady. Yeah. So I think Joe Burrow was closest to that role. No offense to your guy, Josh Allen.
No, but Josh has got to get to the Super Bowl.
Right. Burrow's won a little more. So I thought that was really shaping up to be an awesome rivalry. I hope it still is.
Yeah, I hope so, too. And so we'll keep you updated on anything you hear. Also, I mean, just you and I have a bet going on this. I still think Joe Burrow's going to get his money, no matter what. The Bengals are going to pay him. But you and I have a lot riding on Joe Burrow right now.
Yeah, so we have a bet. Who will have the highest average salary per year? Justin Herbert's at 52.5, where Burrow passed that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, Maggie.
No, I get it. But if Joe Burrow signs for more than Justin Herbert, Perloff has to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands. So and if it's less, then I have to eat the chili with no hands. We've been talking about goggles and other things.
Snorkel?
No, because you got to eat it somehow.
Wow. I don't know if you feel like I got to breathe underneath that chili.
I just I don't know if your eyes are going to get all this chili in it, let alone your hair, but maybe some safety glasses, like Kareem-style rec specs or something. I don't know.
We're talking safety? I mean, Perloff was eating the spiciest wing ever. There was no safety precautions really taken.
I know, and it was a big point of contention.
Yeah.
He almost pulled out because of it.
I say no goggles. I say if you're going face first, you got to go all in. Just close your eyes.
Just close your eyes.
It'll all be over soon.
Maggie's thinking, let's see who wins this bet first before I decide which way to go with this one.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing to anything.
Here's a quick question I have, though. So you brought up that you still think he's going to get the money, and I think you're probably right also. But we were also talking before the show, and we were discussing like the short-term versus the long-term deals, and like would Tua ever get one of those deals? And we mentioned how
this is the exciting stuff we talk about before the show.
But like we talk about how Tua has this injury history, and so therefore the Dolphins aren't going to, hitch themselves to a guy who has an injury history. Joe Burrow has an ACL injury and now potentially a calf injury. If you're the Bengals, does this give you pause if you're going to think about doing one of those Mahomes 10-year deals for Mahomes for Burrow?
Probably not, but it's a fair point to bring up. First of all, we don't know what's going on with the calf yet. I don't want to jump to a conclusion and then he's out on the practice field tomorrow. We're going to look silly. So I don't think, until we understand the diagnosis, I don't think we can say that yet.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of people tweeted us yesterday after the bet. I guess Schefter said something on ESPN about how that he thinks Joe Burrow will definitely pass Justin Herbert, which makes me a little bit nervous, but I'm hoping the structure of Joe Burrow's deal is more long-term, more team-friendly, because you got to get that average number. That's the risk.
I know, you keep reminding me this.
He's going to get $400 million, but it's probably going to be team-friendly.
We'll see. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so that's what's going on with Burrow. Anything more we hear, we'll get it to you immediately. We are also doing our great debate series this week, greatest of all time at that position. Stu, let's play the music one more time about fan bases.
The Great Debate Series. Best fan base ever.
Now, forgive us, what kind of fans would we be if Perloff and I did anything different than the teams that we root for? I mean, Perloff making a case for the Philadelphia Eagles falls very flat. My case for the Buffalo Bills, stellar. If you have social media, you know what I'm talking about. It's not about who can get into the most fist fights with Dallas Cowboys fans. It's about who's got the most passion to root on their own team.
Yeah, who's more iconic, Bills Mafia or the Eagles fans? I'm actually asking.
Bills Mafia.
I mean, you saw Silver Linings Playbook when that van came up in the parking lot and everybody starts flapping their wings. And, it's always sunny in Philadelphia. There's so many great Eagles things in pop culture.
That's
There's
just
so
because
many movies,
a
so
lot
many
of
TV
Hollywood
shows.
people happen to be from Philly. That doesn't make it better.
And they're usually making fun of Eagles fans for how ridiculous they are, not like how great they are.
Also, Silver Linings Playbook wasn't good. And if we're going to go with...
Whoa, what?
It wasn't. And if we're going to go with celebrity fans, then it's actually the Chiefs probably have more celebrity fans.
We have much more important things to talk about. We're going to have to broach this conversation. That is a hot take.
Jennifer Lawrence and Silver Lining Playbook is unbelievable.
The whole thing is
She won
awesome.
the Oscar for that.
Dude,
She's
even
great.
De Niro was very cool.
That's one of the better late career De Niro's.
Oh, it was
that's saying much.
Well, yeah. No, I admit it's not the Raging Bull or De Niro, but I know those people, and that was filmed near my house too, by the way. So the house I grew up, not where I live now.
855-212-4CBS. Let's get your thoughts. Our pal Ryan's in Santa Barbara. Ryan, where you been?
What's going on, Maggie and McLovin? How the heck are you? Happy kind of late summer here. Are you guys drinking some of that stash from McLovin's moonshine from back in the Dan Patrick show? Because, although, no, not you, Maggie, but more McLovin, because probably the most hated fans are the Philadelphia Eagles, and second behind that would be the Raiders. I happen to love the Buffalo Mafia, but are you guys crazy? It's the San Francisco 49ers by far. And in regards to the Joe Burrow thing, hey, I got an idea. How about Trey Lance be the backup? We get a bunch of picks. And that's that, because Brock Purdy's going to be MVP next year.
It's that kind of delusion, Ryan, that we appreciate from a 49er fan.
We didn't
Brock Purdy MVP.
We didn't say who is the most wine and cheese crowd out of the new stadium in Santa Clarita. Maybe you would have an argument with the Candlestick crew, but come on, that's not even the best fan base in the Bay Area. Yeah.
Rocking out, he wears a cape.
What's that?
But it's not as crazy as the Buffalo Mafia as they're jumping off roofs onto picnic tables.
I know. Have you jumped? When's the last time you jumped off an RV into a table and everyone cheered? Ryan, you're the best.
No.
Thanks so much for checking in.
Good.
We'll see you around the wine country.
I wanted to be clear, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say this to get favor from the audience. If I didn't pick the Eagles, I was definitely picking the Packers. I mean, they're all-time, too.
Oh, yeah, now you say
I love me some Green Bay.
And just as I'm about to go to Drew in Redding, California, wants to talk about the Packers. Hey, Drew.
Hey, thanks for taking the call.
You got it.
Yeah, I can't think of a more iconic fan than being a cheesehead. I mean, my family, we moved there in the early 80s, and it was a turning point in my socialization to be becoming a Scotty to accept the Packers and become a cheesehead.
Drew, I agree with you. I've always said this. I think you could climb to the top of Mount Everest, and thank you for the phone call, and you'll find either a cheesehead or a terrible towel. Like somebody has left one of those things at the top of the tallest peak in the world. Now, the one thing about the Packers, where this is where I think the Bills have them beat, for obviously we're both standing outside in the cold. We're both enduring these horrible elements. But the Packers fans have been delighted to 2 generations worth of incredible quarterbacking. Like the team year after year after year gives you a reason to go out in the cold. There were so many years, decades, for the Bills where they were terrible, and the fans still went out, braved the cold, had a couple of bat blues, and went out and watched the team. Was Tom Brady is kicking our butts for 2 decades, and they still came out game after game.
But have you noticed that from a national perspective, this Bills Mafia phenomenon, that only became a thing when Josh Allen got there. In 2008, nobody was talking about how cute it was and they were jumping through tables. Nobody was talking about it at all.
I know, but
And
the
now
real
that they're
fans were still there.
But now, yeah, right. But the thing that they're famous for now, none of that happened until they were good. Kyle Brandt was not, from NFL Network, was not going to the draft and declaring himself part of Bills Nation
Well, that's
back in
because
2005.
he's a bandwagoner like you.
Well, I'm not a bandwagoner for the Eagles. Everything
No, not for the Eagles, but you're a bandwagoner in general, and Kyle bandwagons for the Bills.
I understand.
He's from Chicago.
But I honestly, all those Midwestern fan bases that you're mentioning, they're all great. They're amazing. Kansas City, Buffalo. But they're just not, there's something about a Philadelphia fan base that's just, they're too nice out there. It's like kind of the St. Louis Cardinals.
No, maybe you guys are too mean.
No. To be a fan, actually, you got to help your team. You need an edge. Honestly, the Eagles have had so many subpar teams that were just lifted by the people in the crowd.
The other thing, though, where that's a negative, I think, against the Eagles is I think you guys love your team, but you also hate your team. And that's something that there's sometimes that can happen, I think, with the Bills, but for the most part, they truly love the team. You guys kind of hate your team. And I know that feeling because the Mets are like that, too. It's like you love them, but you also love to complain about them and rip them.
That's true, but the love is so deep. It's like, you know how Alabama fans say roll tide when they pass each other? Everybody says go Birds. I mean, that's like, you know. I mean, name another city where you can wear a Brian Dawkins jersey to a wedding and that's considered formal wear.
It is odd. I've never seen that before. Or a funeral.
Yeah, I'm sure that actually would work in Buffalo as well.
Yeah, Buffalo, you can, I think it's, Bruce Smith is kind of formal wear.
Yeah.
Thurman Thomas is kind of like your everyday stuff. Let's go to our pal Jay in Alabama. Hi, Jay.
Oh, my freaking God. I finally got off of work early enough to like you guys' freaking voice. It's kind of freaking me out because I haven't been able to, like, roll down the street. Because, like, you can't bring your you can bring your cell phone into my job, but, you know, you can't just be, like, just, you know, vibing out or calling in, like, talking sports or whatever, somebody come and get you. But as far as, like, fan bases or whatever, as far as NFL-wise, I got to say Pittsburgh because of their ownership. They don't have fair weather fans over there.
It's true.
They don't have fans that's going to trash the team, even when they're doing bad. They don't have fans like Philadelphia that's going to throw, like double D batteries at Santa Claus or anything like that. And as far as college, it's got to be between Auburn and Alabama. Alabama fans are even more obnoxious when they're losing. They're a little bit more mild-mannered when they're winning.
I know,
Auburn
but Jay,
fans,
we couldn't do college. You know, we were afraid we'd get death threats if we did college. NFL, we can talk about fan bases. Maybe people can be, you know, like a little bit even-keeled about it, understand it's kind of just fun topic. I think in college, it's like not fun. It's like, no, this is real.
No, with college fans, you got a bunch of people talking loud saying nothing, man. You can't be scared of that. I mean, seriously. The college fans is always selling wolf tickets and ain't nobody buying them. So I wouldn't even I wouldn't even worry about that. But I mean, but to be real, yes, I gotta say Alabama and Auburn got the best fans because it's like, dude, people will have church visuals, church service, and pray to God and hope that our team can get to the SEC championship this year. It's like another religion down here. And you think that's a joke. It's really not.
No, I don't think that's
really
a joke, Jay. Hey, let's be honest, Jay. It's so good to hear from you, man. I'm glad you're off from work.
Man, y'all too, my God. Man, like, dude.
Well, don't be a stranger. Hope work is going well. Thank you for calling in. Great to hear your voice. Be honest, go around the room. Have you ever prayed to a higher power for your team?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely.
I mean, have you
Hasn't worked.
No. I know. I'm like, this keeps not working.
By the way, the reason we didn't do college is because we're a little afraid of LSU fans. I mean, Jay is in Alabama, so he thinks Alabama Auburn, but everybody in Ohio thinks it's Ohio State. Everybody in Texas thinks it's some Texas high school. I mean, listen, there's no way if we got into that, we would have. I am afraid. I think I have a rightful reason to be afraid of college fans.
I'm definitely afraid of college.
The 12th man in Seattle.
I love them, but
the 12th man in Seattle's not going to come after us. By the way, they deserve a little.
Yeah, the noise, but the noise is part of it. But it's also like architecturally, the way the stadium is amplifies the noise.
Yeah, but I think though that they have now doubled down and made it even louder. And they actually, I've seen stats. They have a really good home field advantage,
of course,
because of that. So, and I think the fans helping the team win, that's an important category here. And I'm sure the Bills win more in Buffalo.
Well, not for a couple decades, but now they do. Yeah, everyone should have a home field advantage.
Yeah, but the fans fans don't help teams win.
Yes, they do.
I mean, a home field advantage helps, but it's probably as much about the team, being in their own locker room and sleeping in their own bed at home.
You want to know what it is?
It's not about the fans.
There's been
a little
studies
bit,
on this. It actually is the referees. The officials make calls that it's like proven studies. I'm not like calling out, Angel Hernandez or anything, but it's like proven study that the referees side with the home team more.
I've seen that too.
Yeah.
I do the fan, like the fans cheering and all that.
It's normal.
Psychological.
And they might not even be conscious that they're doing it, but they don't want to. It's like going against 80,000 people or 100,000 people. It's like something happens in your subconscious.
Also, too, I think the other team has to fly. They get dehydrated. You know how important hydration is. You don't think the flying affects anything? Of course it does. The travel definitely takes
For
it. Football,
it's once a week.
Football.
Baseball, maybe.
You think a West Coast team playing a 1 o'clock Eastern game after flying there on Friday night? I think you go to California. Are you yourself physically immediately?
No, but I think it's more acute when it's like basketball teams. You get in at 3 a.m. the night before. You got a back-to-back. You're in a different time zone. Hockey teams, baseball. Football's once a week. You can get up for one game.
I think if you fly cross-country on the Friday before a game, I think you're not 100%.
No, the London games, I think, mess with people.
I don't know. I mean, look at, the numbers of the West Coast teams playing on the East Coast are not good, and probably vice versa. But, it might be the time zone. Think about California. How long does it take you to adjust to the time zone?
I love when we go to California. It's my favorite because I'm on East Coast time. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, ready to go.
Right.
I feel like a superhero.
But by 8 o'clock at night, aren't you like, oh my God, this is the latest I've ever been up in my life?
No, that's what the coffee's for.
Well, right. But say you have a Sunday night football game at SoFi and you're a Buffalo Bill.
You got to become a good napper.
See, that's why home field matters. Simple. Just play at home. You're going to win.
855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. Again, monitoring the Joe Burrow situation. Carted off the field today. Looks like it's a calf injury, but that's all we know. Not giving us any more as he's going to undergo tests and things at the Bengals facility. So as soon as we'll know anything. But it is a calf injury, right calf. He hurt it non-contact on the practice field in Cincinnati today. All right, coming up. Still, we're amazed. We've been working in sports for 20 years, whatever, Perloff together, and this guy continues to amaze us. We'll tell you who is having himself a day. We'll do that next. Don't move. Maggie, Perloff, and you, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. It is one of those days. It is late July. It should be time to chill out, but there is so much news flying in. Where should we start? What's the latest? What do you got on Joe Burrow, Maggie?
Well, the latest with Joe Burrow, if you're just getting in your car, just listening to us and turning us on, is that he was carted off the practice field today. It was a non-contact injury, looks like to his right calf. Rolling out to his right during a drill, kind of, came up limping and then sort of goes down in a heap. And so Zach Taylor said it's a calf injury and would not expound any further than that. So it's a wait and see right now.
Yeah. Let's hope it's not anything with the Achilles, and it doesn't sound like it's an ACL. So that is probably the best news, because when I first saw it, you first saw it, it looked like, oh man, this might be the worst kind of injury you could have.
Well, you hear non-contact,
Yep.
goes down in a heap, carted off the field, your mind immediately goes to the worst place. Yes, Andrew.
So Jamar Chase spoke after practice.
Okay,
he
what did he
said,
say?
we always give each other a nod. He gave me a nod to say he's all right. He's a strong dude. Now, again, these are just early reports. Maybe it's not as bad. Maybe we're all blowing this out of proportion. But when you see Joe Burrow go down, this is your first thought. But
Yeah.
fingers crossed he's okay.
It's scary, especially because he's, on a roll. Like the Bengals are one of the most fun teams. They're Super Bowl contenders, of course. Burrow's on the cusp of signing this massive contract that's probably going to come down any day now. Perloff and I have a bet tied into this contract. If it's more than Justin Herbert, that means Perloff's got to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of things riding on Joe Burrow, is what I'm trying to say.
What happens if he doesn't sign it this offseason, signs it next offseason, and it's bigger? Then do I have to eat the Skyline chili?
The bet's the bet.
Well, I feel like if he signs it next year, that it's definitely going to be more than 52.
Well, why would he wait till next year?
I don't know. Maybe the Bengals will not be able to reach. I mean, they're definitely like a little bit of a standoff here. People were asking him yesterday, are you going to hold out? He said, I would, except I don't want to miss any practice time. So there's obviously some tension. They haven't figured it out yet.
I think he's going to get something done. The question is, who's going to be eating the chili with no hands? So we got that going on. Other good news, Bronny James has been released from the hospital. So LeBron set out something on social media this morning saying, thanking everybody. They didn't have quite an update yet, but thanking people for the good wishes that everyone was sending. And then he did get discharged from the hospital. And Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, where they commended the USC training staff for, they didn't say saving his life, but, for acting so quickly that it really mitigated, I think, a lot of what potential damage could have been done. So they said when he came into the hospital, he was conscious, and alert, and then got better and better and better from there.
Any word on what caused it yet? I haven't seen anything.
And I don't know if we might never know. I mean, it is his personal health. As basketball fans, we're all interested, but it is private, right?
Yeah, but if he's going to the NBA draft, I do think there's going to be so much curiosity.
For sure.
I mean, so Kenny, you're right. In a perfect world, he could keep that private, but if your team's going to invest, say, a number 3 pick, you want to understand what's happening here.
No, I get it.
I mean, maybe number 3 is too high, but if any kind of
lottery
high first-round pick, there's definitely, I'm not saying we have the right to know, there's going to be curiosity for sure.
Then finally, another update from today. Shohei Ohtani is having himself a day. The Angels are in Detroit for a doubleheader, and in the first game of the doubleheader, he pitched his first ever complete game. A one-hitter, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, only 111 pitches, and now, as if he couldn't top that, in the second game of the doubleheader, he hit a home run today. So he's the only player in the history of Major League Baseball, going back 120 years or whatever, that's pitched a shutout and then hit a home run.
In the next game.
In the next game.
In a doubleheader.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's guys who've pitched a shutout and hit a home run in the same game.
That probably has happened. But anyway.
Yeah, because there's no hitter. There's a guy, Rick Wise, hit a home run and no hitter. So it already feels like, and I'm sorry, we're one day into this. I feel like the Angels have already proven they made the right decision by not trading him. It's already done. There's no more debate.
No, I mean, he's great no matter what. I'm just saying the process is flawed here for the Angels. He says he wants to play for a winner. Even if they just make the playoffs this year, the Angels have not proven themselves to be consistent winners. If he leaves in free agency and he leaves for almost nothing, that's a mistake.
But if you're an Angels fan and Shohei Ohtani is in an Orioles uniform and pitches a one-hitter and hits a home run today, you are burning your Angels gear. You're never rooting for that team again. You'll be like, how did you trade this guy?
First of all, there are no Angels fans. So you don't have to worry about that.
That's probably true. I don't think there's too much gear being sold out there. Well, there's probably a lot of Shohei jerseys, but they'll probably follow him.
Yeah, they're going to be fans no matter what. Okay, also what we want to update you on is what's going on in Congress. You know, we are not a political show. We don't do that, and we don't do it on purpose because it annoys people. But there are 3 gentlemen who are testifying in front of Congress on whether aliens have landed on this planet. Now, that got our interest. So David Grush, Ryan Graves, and David Fravor were in front of Congress yesterday, or in front of the House committee, right? David Grush is a whistleblower. All 3 of them are. He served 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force and more, investigating UAPs. We don't call them UFOs anymore. Samter, we're calling them UAPs, unidentified aerial something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why we just don't call it.
UFOs, I guess, needed a rebrand.
But why?
Well, because I think, ask the producers from Independence Day. I don't know. Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, UFO is much easier.
And David Fravor is a retired commander in the U.S. Navy who spotted the now famous Tic Tac video during a flight off the coast of California, which was like a aircraft that was moving in a way that physics wouldn't allow, or at least physics as we know it. So here was a little, if you're interested in whether aliens have landed on this planet, here was a little of this UFO testimony from yesterday. First, they were asked, is the government in possession of UFOs?
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General.
Okay, how about non-human bodies that were found?
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
All right, I get it's hearsay, right? He's talking to someone. He didn't see it himself, the guy who's making this testimony. But Perloff, I mean, non-human bodies have been found in spacecraft that has landed on this country. What more do we need to know?
Well, first of all, can I just state that I object to this whole thing. Congress should be focusing on NIL and college football related topics and interviewing baseball players. I don't know where they're getting the time to interview people about UFOs. But, I mean, come on. I could hear in that little video right there, I know when someone's lying, and that person was lying. That person was so full of it.
But why lie? Why are 3 people lying?
Just because it's cool.
It's cool to lie. This is not cool. Last Rafael Palmeiro, it is not cool to lie.
I mean, seriously, have you ever talked to a guy in a bar and you know what they sound like when they're lying? That's the guy. But they sound like nerds in their basement who are making something up to try and impress somebody. I mean, not a single one of them has a shred of reliability.
I just read their credentials. 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force, a former Navy pilot, a retired commander in the U.S. Navy. I'm not calling into question their credentials. 40
interviews. Why hasn't he seen the ships?
See, that's the one thing. The 2 pilots have seen them.
One thing.
This whistleblower is going off some, I saw a guy who told me
Right, so why is he's not even a whistleblower? Because whistleblowers saw the thing.
Well, I mean, it seems like he's got a bit of credibility. Here, my one question is, if these UFOs are so smart, why would they fly that close to like an F-15 fighter or something? You know, why would you get that close to a aircraft? But maybe they're just like inspecting things and checking things out.
Well, the other part of it is like, let's say the federal government is covering this up, right? Let's say Area 51 exists and there's this huge cover up and there have been UAPs and UFOs spotted all over military bases. This is one out of 300 countries around the world? You're telling me that UAPs and UFOs haven't been over Russia or Brazil or South Africa or Madagascar,
no, I'm
and
sure
other people haven't seen it and taken pictures without governments covering it up? Like, that's the only thing that worries me is, like, why is this like a U.S. thing? Why is this not like a global thing if UFOs are out there?
Well, maybe we're just not getting the news from Madagascar. You know?
I feel like if somebody from South Africa or Iraq or, Indonesia have video of actual aliens, we would probably hear about it.
Well, but maybe their governments have the same issues that our government has. They don't want to freak everybody out if this stuff is actually true.
Oh, yeah. All the governments around the world always show so much restraint about everything.
Yeah, well.
And by the way, this is probably the fourth stupidest hearing in Congress this week. I'd like to see.
The funny thing is, I totally believe in aliens. I totally believe that aliens have come here and either are here or have been here. But the more I listen to these clips of these guys talking about it, the more I don't believe what these guys are saying. I believe that there's aliens, but these guys kind of
wrote it.
Well, I mean,
they sound like they're out of a movie.
But we do have testimony of 3 people who were actually abducted by aliens, and this is what it sounded like.
After the blue light pulled you into the spacecraft, what is your next memory?
I came to and saw a beautiful being made of like a beautiful calming light.
Yeah, same here. That being touched my head, and I felt every emotion in its purest form. It was amazing, and I cried, sir.
Okay, and you, Miss Rafferty?
Wow. What floor were you guys on? I woke up in a dirty metal dome, and 40 little gray aliens watched me pee in a steel bowl. When they took the bowl, walked out. I don't think I was dealing with the top brass.
One of the best SNL skits of all time.
So good. You have an update for us on Shohei?
I do. He just hit another home run.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, he's a slacker. He went 0 for 5 in game 1.
Yeah, right. While he was pitching a complete game, 1-hitter. 2 home runs now in the second game of the doubleheader against the Tigers. Pitched a complete game, 1-hitter in the first game, and now 2 home runs in the second game.
Okay,
wow.
So trade deadline's Monday. Teams have better ante up if they want to change the Angels' mind now. I mean, listen.
No, I mean, they're not taking calls. I get that. They traded for Lucas Giolito.
Yeah.
They're all in.
I think this is, unfortunately, he's just too good. There isn't a prospect in the world that you could bring in. There's just no short, unless you have LeBron James as a rookie, there's just nobody you could bring in that's even worth it, is there?
I know, but they're 4.5 games out of the last wild card spot. They're fighting
3.5 now.
Or 3.5, excuse me. They're fighting tooth and nail just to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if they don't get there, and even if they do and have a quick exit, I mean, he could be gone for almost nothing. You get a qualifying offer. Pick. Cool.
I am just watching the video of Shohei crushing this ball.
Yeah.
It looked like it went out 180 miles an hour. He grabs at his oblique 3 times while running the bases, and then as he crosses home plate, he stretches back again.
Yeah.
I mean, when you throw a complete game shutout and then you hit 2 home runs, your body's going to break down a little bit. And to Perloff's point about him doing both things, eventually his body might not make it through all this stuff. So
did he hurt his back last week? Is his back or his oblique? Because he's been doing that a lot.
He was reaching almost like towards that kidney back area.
How is he hitting all these home runs and pitching complete games? The dude is like me. He's got a lower back problem.
Not just like you, but
little like
I get it. Man, 855-212-4CBS. What a day. 855-212-4227. Coming up, well, what do they say? Got to shoot your shot. One athlete did just that, but it didn't work. We'll tell you what's going on, plus latest on Joe Burrow. Don't move. Got a CBS Sports update for you. Here is Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Well, to recap, it's Shohei Ohtani's world. We're just living in it. In game 1 of 2 today in Detroit, the Angels won 6-0 as Ohtani threw his first complete game, a 1-hit shutout, as he struck out 8 and walked 3. In game 2, the Angels have a 7-2 lead in the bottom of the 4th, and Ohtani has already hit 2 home runs, giving him a total of 38 on the season. The game 1 victory put them 3.5 games back in the wild card race. Bronny James is now back home. The 18-year-old son of LeBron was discharged from the hospital 3 days after going into cardiac arrest. Several teams have had trouble navigating the summer from injuries in the NFL. The Bengals had a nervous moment today. Joe Burrow carted off with a calf injury. There's no timetable right now as to when he'll be back. And also today, Jalen Ramsey also carted off with an apparent left knee injury. No word on that severity. The Jets, with money to spend now after Aaron Rodgers reworked his deal, are reportedly going to meet with free agent Dalvin Cook this weekend. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Jim Rome here. Coming up Friday in the Jungle, conversations with new Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. and Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. See you Friday, 12 noon Eastern and 9 Pacific.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff, as we're probably not going to get anything on Joe Burrow for the rest of the day, I would imagine. Maybe not, I don't know. Carted off the practice field today with a calf injury. Jamar Chase said he gave him a look that made him feel like it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's not exactly a doctor report, by the way.
It's not, but these two guys have known each other for a long time, won a college national championship with each other. So I feel like if Burrow gives Chase a look, that's pretty much as good as a doctor's prognosis. Let's get to our shot of the day.
He shoots!
The shot of the day comes to you from our pals at Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. We love Casamigos around here, and it's always Casamigos time at the Maggie and Perloff Show. Now, today's shot of the day, a little snapshot of the show, comes from earlier. We were talking about Sean Payton gave these inflammatory comments to USA Today, called Nate Hackett, the former Broncos coach, maybe one of the worst coaching jobs he's ever seen in the history of the NFL. Also cautioned the New York Jets because this is the team with all the hype, just like the Broncos were a year ago, and obviously things went south. Perloff and I talked about it. I think Sean Payton's going to end up eating these words because you have now just offered the bulletin board material to Aaron Rodgers, somebody who, when his former team had the audacity to draft Jordan Love, he went out and won 2 MVPs. And I like Sean Payton, but here's why he sounds like a hater. They didn't ask about the Jets. They were asking about you. Stay on you. Like, he went out of his way. He took a left turn in the car to run over the Jets. And I think he's going to end up eating it.
Sean Payton's right. They haven't done anything. They've won a bunch of press conferences. Nothing positive has happened in New York yet because they haven't played a single game. There's nothing. This is nothing.
There you go. So the Sean Payton war of words.
Wow. I feel a little confident. I feel like I'm on landed on Team Sean Payton today, and he's a darn good coach. So that actually gives me a good feeling compared to the Jets, who are unproven.
Yeah, I think this Jets team is motivated, and the fact that injuries could happen, whatever, but outside of Robert Saleh, I'm not sure if he's a great coach, but they have like all the tools here.
Like what?
Well, they have a great defense. Now, Denver ended up having a not terrible defense, and their defensive coordinator last year ended up being like a highly touted guy. But the fact of the matter is the Jets defense might be a championship caliber defense, like a top 5 defense. And that can make up for a few mistakes on the offense when you're trying to get the ball rolling.
I think it's hard to judge because last year they had no offense, so nobody was pushing against their defense. I think it's really good. But the Jets' problems are in Buffalo, Miami, and New England. Honestly, there's nothing going on with Denver. And here's the other thing. You talk about bulletin board material for the Jets. How about, Buffalo's week 1 against the Jets, right? You don't think that they're watching all this? Seeing all these headlines about the Jets, you don't think that they're going to have a target on their back? I think all this hype is going to make everyone so fired up to play them, especially Buffalo.
I know, but now you just gave the bulletin more material the other way. Guys are always looking they never believed in us. They were always, they were haters. And now Sean Payton just put that on paper.
I guarantee week 1 in Buffalo's locker room before the game, you're going to say, everyone's talking about the Jets. Let's show them who's the real boss of the AFC East.
Well, I hope so. Meanwhile, when you're like the reigning Super Bowl champs, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Here was Travis Kelce talking on his podcast about trying to meet Taylor Swift.
I was a little butthurt. I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her.
You made her a bracelet?
Yeah. If you're up on Taylor Swift concerts, there are friendship bracelets, and I received a bunch of them being there, but I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it. Not right now. She doesn't meet anybody, or at least she didn't want to meet me, so I took it personal.
Taylor doesn't meet anybody before or after the shows because she's saving her voice. But it's funny that Kelsey struck out. It's funny that Jason goes, what number, 87? He goes, no, my phone number. Should give her friendship with 87 on it. 855-212-4227. We also did a great debate series today. Greatest fan bases. Scott is in California, has a twist on it. Hi, Scott.
Hey guys, I gotta say, the flavor of your show is just the way I can say it. You guys can delve into something really hardcore and then just go have fun with something else, and it makes it for good listening. I actually was laughing when you guys were doing the Eagles and Bills, duo with the fan base. Perloff, that the Eagles are considered, probably next to the Raiders, probably the worst fan base. And, I don't know who the best is. I don't get to go to a lot of places. I got to US Bank Stadium, my Vikings, and it was great. I've been to other Viking games on the West Coast. Bills, I don't know. They're just cold all the time, and but I don't know if the Bills Mafia is kind of a newer thing, but
yeah.
I don't know if they're but I don't know who the best fan base is.
Scott, I love that you put the worst in. Yeah.
Maggie is this. For the Buffalo Bills, teach this. Your quarterback not to fumble in the end zone. Your running back not to lose his helmet in a Super Bowl. And a kicker during the Super Bowl to hit it through the upright.
I'm sorry, Scott. We met the phone drop there. That is so weird. That's so odd.
Yeah, he had a very iffy connection at the beginning
crazy.
of that call.
Just as he was just about to talk about Scott Norwood, the phone cut out.
Yeah, he must have been going through some mountains out there.
I think it's those aliens things that are back, actually. They're very sensitive.
Got abducted?
The aliens, I think, are Bill's Mafia, actually.
That doesn't surprise me.
That didn't make it into the congressional hearing, but I think I saw it in the transcript. Yeah.
No wonder they're
Scott, thank you for the call. What?
They're fireproof.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, I totally take exception to what Scott said. Are you sure the Eagles are the worst fan base? At least it's not Cleveland, because the Browns can get really mean, too. They throw batteries.
There's something kind of lovable, though, about Browns fans.
Oh, not if you're there. Those guys are in the dog mask. Those guys are tough.
The ones in the dog mask.
The black hole, whatever. That is the most intense.
I know, but those people are actually really nice when you get to meet them. Remember, we met a few in Kansas City. They were great.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Actually, you're right. Maybe I was wrong.
Thank you to Mike Samter, to Stu Kovacs. Thanks to our intern Brooke. Thank you to the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers. We can't do the show without you, the callers as well. So much fun. We'll finish out the week strong tomorrow. See you.
You're in a 5-minute break.